Hey, after that long delay, I know nobody sees this in the back end, but when you hit like start broadcast, you then sit there watching this spinning thing happen for like 20 seconds, and that happen. But anyway, Jeff and Joe, thanks for joining me tonight on a Friday night.
Yeah, no, Party City here. Come on. Oh,
wait, who's echoing? Is that me?
We'd hear no echo.
Is that me? Is that me?
You're fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
I'm hearing a massive echo.
Oh, I got nothing. So we'll see if you can in the chat here.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what it is.
Technology.
Hold on for a minute.
Yep. There we go.
No.
Hey, everybody in the chat, thanks for coming and joining us tonight. Nice, long week, and we're gonna go through a bunch of fun stuff. It should be a fun time. So thanks for spending some of your Friday with us. It'll be good. Yeah, nobody hears an echo, so we're all good.
No, it was just me. I had two different browsers going at the same time. So
right.
Back in the game, sir.
I have been there. Well, Jeff, obviously we're talking to Jeff Thorne here, our writer of Green Lantern, among other things.
Howdy.
Excellent. And we're talking with Joe, our writer of Beckstar, among other things. So
whoa.
Beckstar.
Thank you.
It's it's good. How has your week been, both of you?
Go, Joe.
It's been pretty good. It's been obviously going to second print, all that stuff, and seeing the cover for that was good. But yeah, other than that, this week's been up and down. I read some good comics. I read some less interesting comics. The weather's been all right. My allergies have been terrible still. That's been concerning. But no, it's been pretty good. I got a great email before this. I hate being that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy, but
well, please be that guy. Be that guy.
But no, from another publisher I've been talking to for a bit. So hopefully
nice
something there will be moving forward soon. So good stuff.
Good
for you.
Yeah.
For myself, it's been a very easy week. A financial thing that I was going through where I wasn't getting paid for something I'd done has finally been resolved, so that's nice. And I'm just cranking away on this ridiculous cosmic book.
Yeah,
just like that's it. It's been very light this week. Very nice.
How so? If you don't mind me asking, and I'd always, not sure how far but with Green Lantern, where are you at? You're writing the book, obviously. How far ahead are you?
I'm in the midst of issue 6.
Very nice.
Right now. And also it's weird because since we know the whole arc, we're also in sort of weird negotiation for some late stage stuff because we don't want to step on the toes of other books. So we're making sure that we're not either overlapping or using characters that have been put in some weird dire straits in one of the other books. That is to say, if we bring them in at all, I like to get out in front of stuff, way out in front of stuff. So like, don't tell me the plot, just, are you going to kill character X, or will they be in like some the ninth ring of hell when I need them? Because if they are, I just will use another character. But tell me now. So that's what's going on. So it's fun. It's just very smooth and easy.
Yeah.
Strange. Knock wood.
Well, reception has been good. We'll chat with you a little bit, but reception's been really good for the first 2 issues, and Joe, a lot of reception's been good for Beckstar. Did you mention you're doing second printing? So yeah.
Beckstar's the shit. That's a great book. It's a straight up great book.
We're loving it. It's all in all, it's pretty good. I normally do this. What are you drinking? But Jeff, you're not drinking, right?
I am drinking raspberry spur water. Is what I'm drinking this evening.
Okay, excellent.
I thought I'd splurge a bit. Here, can you hear the ice?
There you go. Joe, how about yourself?
I still have bourbon left, so having some of that.
Bourbon. Yeah. Very, very nice. Last week was a fun week. I will be pathetic to the chat. I'm drinking some tea tonight, so
you're good.
We're going out for margaritas later, so I don't want to.
You gotta pace yourself.
I do. I don't want to start my evening with my wife completely hammered. So I think
yeah, it's never good.
That's fair.
UT would be a good plan. I'll be a good.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. I'm talk me in the chat. It's all there.
You know, it's a shame your daughters won't be able to talk about how drunk you were in therapy years from now, but you know.
They'll be able to do that. Don't
worry. he's looking out for the kids. Don't worry.
Yeah,
he's gonna give them plenty of stories.
They'll have their opportunities, no doubt about it. Definitely.
Oh my God.
Going on. Some questions in the chat. So solicits for DC. I've seen an initial list. I don't know if they're all the whole thing's out, but I know I've seen some solicits for August. So I know they're coming for sure. So, but yeah, no, I mean, comics are going along. Some people mentioned it. I thought, not to start out on a downer, but it's worth noting a couple things here. David Anthony Kraft, of course, who I'm sure both of you are very, very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
He, unfortunately passed away this week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people know him from the comic work. I mean, he did a lot of really amazing stuff, but also comics interview. I mean, he was one of kind of I don't know about the first, but a very kind of key journalist.
What do
you guys say?
Those books went away. Like, I think probably the internet killed them all, but comics interview was like my mainstay for a while. Like they did in-depth interviews, long interviews with creators in a way that was more like if Time magazine was going to interview you. Like they took all of it seriously, and so the questions were always good. And for someone who was like aspiring, even then when you're not consciously aspiring, you're like, oh, that's a neat little tidbit about how the backstage works. And it was a fantastic magazine. I'm sorry, I was sorry it went away. Also, I owned that Captain America.
Yeah, that's great. That's a collection, but that issue. I mean, there were he did some great stories, and I think the comics interview stuff can't be understated. I think he treated it seriously. Like he treated this like not without humor, but like this was an important thing, and it was. Yeah. It was great. I don't know about Joe. What do you have some memories of?
No. I mean, the real shame, because I'm going to kind of tie this to Steve Lytle from earlier this year. We've lost too many people this year already.
Oh my God!
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was a blow.
But similar to Steve Lytle in a way, for the most part, David Anthony Kraft didn't get a lot of runs. He did a lot of issues of things, but he'd do a bunch of Captain America, but it's like he didn't really get more than 2 issues or 3 issues in a row. Same with a lot of the other stuff he did. Especially at DC, it's a lot of scattered stuff, and it's kind of similar to Lytle in a way where for the most part he did a few issues here and there. He didn't get too many runs. He had a nice sprint on Legion and a little bit on Doom Patrol, but for the most part it was a lot of fill-ins, a lot of covers. I was going to say they turned him into a cover guy. I always wondered what back in those days. I always wondered, why is he not doing more interiors? I mean, his covers were fantastic. But it seemed, asking you, Joe, because obviously I didn't know and didn't think even until this right now to even ask something like that. But you seem knowledgeable about it's fascinating listening to you guys talk when I'm not on the show, because you have sort of an insider knowledge of a lot of the sort of backstage stuff going on. Yeah.
Was there was there a sort of an editorial we don't want him on interiors, he's just going to be the cover guy, he's fast and he's good, so we can do that? Or was it just that was the work he could get?
I mean,
it was a little mix of both. I know with Doom Patrol, for example, Mike Gold had hired him on that book, and basically, according to Steve, when he signed on, he was going to have a 6-month head start, so he'd be able to put the kind of detail he wanted in the book, and basically, and it meant a lot to him to have a long lead time in the beginning, so he could really put the kind of detail into it. And what ended up happening is that was not the case. They ended up cutting it significantly. He was not happy with how his work was going to look with a much tighter turnaround time. So they ended up, having a falling out, and that's when Eric Larson took over the book. I think you can kind of take from that that he ended up doing more cover work because he would have more time to really put in to make it look as good as it could be. So I think it's like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can tell him as a cover artist, here's the outline for the book. Here are the characters that are going to be in the book. You don't need to know more than that to do the cover. Yeah. So, wow, that's too bad. They should do some sort of like, I mean, he did enough covers. You could probably do an art book just of that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made on I think a lot of things like that, where you have a lot of work and art that people would happily go with, and a lot of people I don't know if they know Steve Lytle and what he's done, but it like you said, it's been a tough year for sure. A lot of really amazing people lost.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm pretty sure he's the one who illustrated the issues of Legion where Karate Kid got killed and then Projectra killed Nemesis Kid. Yeah,
that's correct. That is correct. Oh my God! Well played, sir. Jesus
Thank you.
Christ.
Thank you.
You and Mark Waid need to go toe to toe on this.
Oh, you'd beat Mark Waid. You'd beat Mark Waid.
Holy crap!
I want to, but I do recommend people go check out David Anthony Kraft. His interviews are timeless in a lot of cases. You get a lot of really good insight into John Byrne and Jim Shooter and a ton of people back there. It's really, really pretty amazing. Again, thank you, by the way, everybody, for joining us. Like I said, it's been a hard year, and this other one hurts me. I mean, they all hurt, but this one was pretty tough to see as well. Kentaro Miura, of course, the creator of Berserk. I don't know how well that's known. I mean, it's obviously well known in the U.S., but in Japan, this was a major factor,
like a loss. Yeah,
and the series will now be unfinished. From what I understand, at least being reported there, they're going to call it, and that's kind of the right thing to do. Painful.
Yeah.
Berserk is one of those titles that it's hard to kind of understand the scope of that. It's got well over 50 million copies in circulation.
Holy crap!
Just a beast of a book, and pretty incredible material. So if you haven't,
I haven't.
If you don't know Berserk, I would look for that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check it out. I'm not a big manga guy. I have no particular thing against manga, but I saw that this was making huge ripples. People I didn't even know liked manga were like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's a big thing. As people are saying in the chat, there's some debate going on about whether to increase or not. From what I understand, the feeling is not to. The assistants could arguably keep it going, but I've heard that there may be a plan to basically publish the outline, but not. And then if the company or the assistants want to continue it, they'll almost branch it so it's clear to people that this is not. His vision remains intact, and then people can see their story identified.
That's good.
So he knew how it was going to end, even though it was taking 1 billion years to get there. He knew what the ultimate end of the story was.
Supposedly, I mean, we'll see. Maybe, hopefully, we see what that outline looks like. Many manga artists do have an end in sight. At least they claim to.
Okay.
But very different style. If people have not, if you're not into kind of the manga look and feel, this book is different.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. It's not quite your typical manga look and feel.
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah,
for real.
Anyway, so it's tough to start that way, but definitely worth kind of noting both these guys pretty big legends in very different ways in the industry. Joe, have you ever read Berserk? Have you checked that out? Or
that one I haven't, but a week doesn't go by where I don't hear about it, and I could say that going back years at this point.
Yeah,
I mean it's been very popular. It's been on my list of things to read. I mean, it took me till the last year to start reading like Junji Ito, and I can't tell you why I waited so long, because as soon as I read it, I'm like, why haven't I been reading this for years? Yes. But I need to. Manga's a bit of a hole for me. I've read other stuff from like Akira. I love Akira. I love Sailor Moon. And some other manga, but
that's such a wide. That's like a wide split, man.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my
directions.
that's my life, though. I mean, today I was listening to like Charlie XCX and Nas. That was what I was jamming to today. So that's just how I roll.
Dude, I would. What is it? The being John Malkovich. I want to be Joe Crow.
Very nice.
Afternoon, man. Put my feet up. Holy shit.
Well, again, thank you everybody for coming. If you want to hit like, I guess that helps the algorithm. People say I don't know what that means, but feel free to. We'll start. We'll start. So I'm kind of mixing it up a little bit. So as we go through kind of the comics that are coming out, and we'll talk Green Lantern a bit and some other fun things. I want to. Well, we'll get to it in a second. So this next week is the Beast of May. So as you can see, 47 more comics coming out this week than last week. 138 books. This is Joe's nightmare right here, actually.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of comics. They saved it for the end of May, apparently. But we're going to go through it all and see what you guys are reading and see if there's some recommendations in here. But I have to warn you, and I'm Jeff, I'm really glad you're here this week in particular because
okay.
This is by far the
most butts.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it has to be the most butt infested week.
It is. Everyone rises to the occasion. This is across the board.
Oh
every
no!
Publisher, they bring it this week, and it is. Anyway, we'll see as we go through it. But we are in for quite a. About the next 10 minutes are going to be fun for people in the chat, I guess. So.
God, you're making me think of that bit from I forget which episode of Simpsons it was, but where Krusty is at the Quickie Mart and Apu's just like, oh, I have your copy of Gigantic Asses.
Yes, indeed.
Well, if I ever need a fix, I know exactly where to show up.
Yeah. Well, apparently your comic shop next week is where you're going to go.
Oh my God.
This is all right. So we'll get into it. So and this is nothing, by the way. So 7 pages again. Sorry, Joe, but I don't know anything on this list you guys are into that you can
Let's see what we've got here. Well, Baby Yoda Cerebus. I have no idea. Literally no idea what that could be, but that's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Dave Sim having tricking you with Baby Yoda, who's going to go on a rant about why he hates women.
Yeah, something like I didn't realize Sim was still in the game, but I mean,
you could argue he's not.
You could make that argument, yeah.
Shit.
Antarctica's pretty in there. I love how Ninja High School. It did renumber at some point, though, right? We're on number 1.
Oh, did it?
It had to have because like 30 years ago, I think I was selling that comic.
Fuck, Gold Digger's at 286.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say pass, but I'm gonna have to see them when I get there to decide on some of these because I just don't know what the hell they are.
And Patriotica is hanging out with a tree, so that's good.
God bless her.
Yeah,
God bless her.
I mean, for the environment.
You arch that back, girl. You arch that back.
Yeah, exactly. Chariot number 3. Chariot's been a fun little title. AWA continues to quietly put out good stuff. We need to poke them with some marketing because they've got some good titles people just aren't seeing. But anyway. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so Boundless Comics and Coffin Comics. This is part of what makes this week so nuts. They well, here we go. Let's just go there.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jungle Fantasy has mini covers.
Oh, hello, nurse.
Yeah. What even?
I mean, I all right. Listen, I mean, we're making fun of it or joking around about it.
It sells.
If this works for them, if this sells for them, it's fine. To me, it's kind of burying the lead. Like, it doesn't tell me the story. It just shows me a hot body that was drawn, hopefully well. So if that's their marketing strategy, and if it's not putting off, they're not worried about putting off ladies. And not all ladies would be put off by it. So
no.
There's plenty of ladies who are perfectly fine with this. To me, it almost is. I don't know. I feel like I'm just so story oriented. I want you to show me something that makes me want to read it.
Yeah.
but there are a lot of people that are collecting the covers. So, okay.
Like if you look at that double spread,
Really? Is that where we're going?
Well,
we've been doing this. It's only been 5 minutes. Jesus.
Jesus, I like how the threat of the dinosaur head is reserved for the back cover. Like they know what they're doing there. That's
Oh yeah. No, for sure. But there's some interesting books here. We've got what was it, Destiny New York #3. That's by Pat Shand, friend of the show.
Oh yeah, Pat Shand.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
So you got that. You got well, Something's Killing the Children. People like that. That's a big one.
This is this Lady Death? Lady Death?
This is Lady Death.
Yeah.
Ah.
And
okay,
she's
now you're gonna laugh.
More realistic and manga version.
Well, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
I was going to say, back when they first did all that Evil Ernie, Lady Death, that whatever that universe, Chaos, right? Chaos comics. I was down for that. So even with her huge pulchritudinousness, I thought those are actually pretty good comics. Something from Firefly. I'm not really reading that. I'm not reading Dune.
A couple things, by the way. No, that top jungle fantasy cover. No, it doesn't have the Comics Code Authority logo plastered right there. I had to do that because that would have gotten me kicked off YouTube with what was under there.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's some stuff. And then there's a question, actually, a legitimate question for both of you. I do love that cover. Gave me pink eye. Well done.
Wow, thank you for that.
Are either of you appearing at any cons this year? Do you guys have any cons in the future?
Go, Joe.
I know I'd like to. I'd like to do New York and Baltimore because those don't really require that much of a commitment for me. Like Baltimore is just not too far, like a 4.5 hour drive from here, and then New York is my local show. So I'd like to do those, and I'd like to do Emerald City. I like that show. My 95-year-old great aunt is out there, and I'd like to see her. I saw her the last couple of times I went out there for that show, and it would be nice to spend time with her and also go to the show. So I'm hoping to do that. I wish I could do C2E22, but they're too close together.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends there, but none of my friends are a 95-year-old relative.
Yeah.
So I got to kind of prioritize here,
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. I get basically similar. Every year I threaten that I'm never going to San Diego again. Every year I go. So I'm not going to break that tradition this year, probably. But this Thanksgiving thing they're doing, I'll definitely not be at that.
Yeah.
I also discovered I prefer these smaller conventions, like the WonderCon is smaller. San Diego, not San Diego, Long Beach Comic Con is smaller. Even the Los Angeles Comic Con is considerably smaller, and they, to me, feel like real Comic Cons from my point of view, as opposed to these sort of giant multimedia extravaganzas that we've been getting. And I like them. Everybody there's a comic book or manga or anime geek, and there's not that sort of weird contingent of movie lunatics that are, they're just screwing it up for the rest of us. So I would say anything that I can drive to from LA, I will probably make a stab at going to, at least for a day. If DC wants me at New York Comic Con, they're going to have to fly me out, which is not a threat. I doubt they will, but that would be basically the way that I would be able to get there.
Maybe
and
the right
timing,
answer. We'll raise money via the channel, and we'll get everybody flown to Seattle for Emerald City Comic Con.
I would do that. I got family in Seattle that I'd never see. I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get
my cousin John out there is going to have a kid in September, so it'd be nice to see him out there. Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, be good.
I made the commitment for face reveal with Sean when he comes out during the con drinking. So we'll do that.
All right, fair enough. So I'm going to hold off on. Well, I've revealed my face elsewhere, but on your channel, I won't come out. I won't come out. I won't come out until you come out.
That's what we'll do.
There you go.
All right. Well, we've tortured people enough with this crazy perspective. So, hey, we'll take a quick break so people catch their breath a little bit. DC next week. I like Shiloh, Mr. Miracle. I've always liked Shiloh, Mr. Miracle. I like Shiloh as a character. So I'm curious about this. Have you? What do you? Jeff? I think you like Shiloh, right?
Brandon's a friend of mine. I like Shiloh initially. Well, first of all, full disclosure, I'm a big fat Kirbyite. So Jack's my man. That is Jack. I have no king but Kirby. So I love the idea of Shiloh. I love the way that Kirby initially did the Mr. Miracle sort of legacy aspect, where they met each other, they knew each other, and it was cool that Shiloh was also Mr. Miracle. Like when the creator signs off on it, you're good to go. Yeah. Brandon, also full disclosure, Brendan Easton and I have been friends for many years. And I am excited for him. I have purposely stayed away from getting any sort of, what's the word? I didn't see that, by the way. I was looking away from the screen.
They want to shoot you through a tube, yeah.
What's that? I want to be shot through the sky in a huge metal tube. What the fuck?
We're raising money for your plane ticket. Yes,
that's funny.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what he does. I have no idea what it will be, but I think he's been eager to sort of really spread his wings a little bit, and I think this might be the book. So I'm ready for it. I'm here for it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm anxious to see it. Some people are mentioning Stargirl kind of finally, well, it's a spring break special, so who knows what she's going to get up to. But,
shenanigans.
Yes, it's not, going to those Miami beaches without a mask. It's terrible. What she's doing here. How about
the mask goes over your nose and mouth. It's not over your eyes, you idiot. That's not where the disease comes in.
I'm amazed nobody used it as a bikini. I was sure somebody down there.
Wow.
But,
Hey, you just haven't seen pictures. I guarantee you there's more than one example of that. Yeah, I promise you.
It's Alive is still doing stuff, huh?
Yeah.
That's good. It's Alive is a small press little junket by Drew Ford.
Okay.
And he puts out books, mostly puts out books that have been long out of print, like books by what was it? He put out Family Man that Joe Staten had illustrated in the 90s.
Oh wow!
Some books from like Trina Robbins. He had Chuck Dixon continue Airboy from where it ended.
Holy shit!
It's Alive, awesome. So like it's a good thing to check out. Like definitely check out It's Alive.
Yeah.
All right, I will. I didn't know Airboy. I thought Airboy had died the true death. God Lord.
Yeah, no, there's some new stuff. I think Steranko did a variant cover for one of the new issues of Airboy 2.
Get out of town. I need to actually get into a shop. I've been buying all my comics on Comixology for the last little while. I haven't been into a comic book shop in over a year. So this will be a fun reason to do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. That'd be good.
Keen Spot? Yeah. I thought Keen Spot was just digital. Aren't they Keen Spot?
Yeah.
Ninjas and Robots. I think something's going in. Yeah. I think I've seen it on some lists, so I believe.
Okay. Yeah. God bless America.
Not to be confused. Not to be confused with Cool Spot, the old 7-Up logo.
Oh my God! You just know everything. Do you know everything?
I used to play that. There was a Cool Spot Sega Genesis game. I remember playing that when I was a kid.
Okay.
There's nothing more.
Right. That was a game that you.
There's nothing more capitalist than playing a video game based on a soda mascot.
Yeah. That's
hysterical.
Peak capitalism.
Hysterical.
Jesus Christ.
There's a few questions. I'm curious. What have either of you been reading this other history of the DC universe? And what do you think of it?
Yeah, I read the first, I think 2.
Mm-hmm.
The third one has a katana on the cover, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I didn't keep going with it. I mean, it's weird. It's like looking at archival footage of the DC comics from some particular editor's point of view. Mm-hmm. Like, it's well written, it's well drawn, but it doesn't feel like a comic book to me. Yeah. So I'm really like, I don't know what to say about it. I can't say it's bad, but it certainly doesn't excite me. Like, it doesn't make me want to buy it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, I there's a lot of people with different theories on that, but it's I'm having a hard time. I can't get into it, and it's not. I mean, lots of people have their different takes on it, but there's something about. I agree with you on the format. Like, it's not quite a book. It's not quite a comic. It's not either of those things. And the page layout is interesting, but I still don't. I don't know.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know. Like, listen, because it's Comixology, I grabbed it as a series.
Mm-hmm.
All I can tell you is I'm going to keep getting the books because I'm automatically going to keep getting them. But after issue 2, I did not remember that I needed to go read issue 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that I think that I just don't think it's a comic book. I think it's a book that looks like a comic book.
Well, this isn't an exact one-for-one comparison, but like they just put out that omnibus of the Who's Who, the DC omnibus.
Yeah.
And like those used to come out as issues and things like that. And like I don't care that much about that. And it's not like, and it's not a knock on the people that put those books together and the illustrations.
No, not at all.
And I love, like, I know Bob Greenberger. He's a great guy, and he contributed a lot to that and is very excited about that book and loves that he's got a copy of it. And like, but that's not on my like list of like, I gotta grab this omnibus. I need it, like kind of thing. I'd prefer to grab, an omnibus of like a storyline or back issues of like, read the story as opposed to like the character breakdowns and things like that.
Yeah, I'm less concerned. I'm less concerned with the sort of archival aspect of it than I am with. I want to read a good run. Like, you can tell me everything I need to know about the Legion of Superheroes plus the story. So,
there's something wrong with so this is, and I do think that the characters seem to come out less at the end of reading it than they were before for me, if that makes any sense.
I get it. I definitely get that.
And some of these reveals make the character more two-dimensional somehow in my mind, if that makes any sense. It's odd.
We've talked about this. I think that you can inject too much realism into superhero comics in specific. I think the more grounded they are to a line if it's too crazy and you're back in the Silver Age. But it's fun in its own way, but I don't think modern audiences who are above the age of 8 will really appreciate Silver Age comics. But this weird notion that things have to become more quote unquote realistic, I don't know that I buy that. So, and I definitely probably don't actually buy it. Like, I probably don't purchase it. So I feel like what you're saying, Perch, is right. I feel on some weird level it diminishes them to do that too much.
I felt and I'm trying to make the point, but I think poorly. You have a page that's kind of powerful talking about racism and kind of struggling as a character, and you see this mugshot in issue 2, and then the next page you flip it and you've got smiling Superman and Supergirl flying through the city, and it's like it's jarring in a way that is wrong. Like it's meant to be kind of jarring to shake you up, but instead it just it's odd. It didn't work for me, but I know some people it's great. But
look, not every book is for every reader.
Exactly.
And there's a difference between realism and plausibility. It definitely has to always be plausible. Like within the context, you have to buy it essentially, and they can't act in ways that a real person wouldn't act. But once it gets too granular, then it starts being about actual people. I'm not reading superhero comics to see a news report. Like, I have the news for that.
That's well said. Yeah, I could agree completely.
Sure.
Well, we did have so lightening it up, we did have Dynamite on this page. So Dynamite gives us this week. So there you go. This is our Dynamite covers. We kind of returned to Butts a little bit.
Okay, well, you're gonna laugh, but I have no problem with any of these Red Sonja covers. None whatsoever.
They're they're fine. They're that one in the center is very well rendered. It's
Isn't that what's his name? Who did Cry for Dawn? Linsner. Linsner. Yeah, that's him. I know that artwork anywhere. He's excellent. How are you gonna? Who's gonna get mad at that? It's not exploitative. She's covered in scars and blood.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with Red Sonja is, why is she wearing a fucking bikini? She's a soldier, for God's sakes.
Mhm.
But
That's
you know,
always
if you
been
get
the problem,
past that, that's a solid piece of art.
It does feel like Jungle Fantasy kind of wrecked it for everybody else. It's like we can't. we're everything else is like, yeah, you could have somebody completely naked on the cover. It's like, it's tasteful. It's good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
he's still in the game, and his artwork is like, it's weird with some of these older creators. Like, some of them you can tell they're sort of past it by their new stuff, and some of them they're like, holy crap, they're so much better, and they were good before. Like, they just don't stop improving. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they there's a lot of good. I just wish they would take some of these creators and give them a bunch of money and do like one OGN.
I agree.
2 years. Like, let's get a.
I agree with you.
Oh, it'd be nice.
I agree with you. Plus, like I said, some of them are way better than they were when they were at their apex, fame wise. Like, grab them up. What the hell, Jim Balint?
Anyway, so
Well,
IDW
how
also
you
has
say
a
it.
book. Yeah, as you can see here, the cover of My Little Pony Transformers, right here. Probably not. Actually. This is definitely Marvel Action Captain Marvel.
Revenge of the Bronies.
Yeah. No, I think this is Tarot. Sorry, Tarot.
Yeah, it's
I haven't
Tarot.
been drinking, I
It's
promise.
Tarot.
Yeah, from Bravo.
Witch of the Black Rose. God bless him.
Very
He
nice.
stays on point. Look, I'm sure I've seen him at conventions. He's got a big ass table and a whole crowd of people around it.
Yeah,
That means that's his niche. Those are people. That's an audience being served.
that's
So,
right.
Serve
No,
them.
absolutely. As somebody
Red
asked,
5.
yeah, Red 5 is here. Yeah.
They're still at it. I mean, what was it? Atomic Robo was making them like all their money. And the reason Brian Clevenger left Red 5 and moved it over to digital, and then IDW picked it up, was because Red 5 was using all these profits from Atomic Robo to prop up their other books.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so it was like, nope, and pulled out of that. And Brian Clevenger right now has a Kickstarter up for a 20th anniversary book edition of 8-Bit Theater. So,
Oh, nice.
What?
yeah.
Oh, I might have to go support that.
Yeah, I think it's almost over too. So definitely check it when you get a chance.
Oh, you asked what happened this week, Perch. I'll tell you what happened. I received in the mail my Elsa Charitier
Very nice.
art book, volume 2, from the Kickstarter that she does. And that girl can draw her ass off. Like, holy crap with this.
Absolutely.
So that was a nice thing to get in the mail.
When did that close? That was a while ago, wasn't it?
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
I was pleased to see that it arrived. I had forgotten. So long ago, I'd forgotten about it. It was a
I
nice
think that's
surprise.
how a lot of Kickstarter and crowdfunding stuff works now. Is like it gets late and then you forget it, and then it's like Christmas. It's like something arrives in the mail and you're like, oh my god, I've completely forgotten about this, and then you get that happy moment.
Yeah.
The Last Ronin, it's May, and we're at issue number 3. How about that?
It's a good thing.
That
Isn't
is
that the last issue?
3 of 5.
3 or 5. Oh god.
I don't.
Oh, now I'm looking.
I'm not a Turtles guy, so I can't have any opinion really one way or the other.
This was a book that it felt like they bought completely, in that they didn't anticipate the interest. And can somebody in the chat remind us, like, when did issue number 1 come out? It was last year.
It had to be October. It was like October or November, I think.
Yeah, it was October, November, I thought, and I think we are $9 for Last Ronin.
It is oversized, but yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're hoping that this series ends this year, right? We're hoping we get issue 5 by December, I think, at this point. But
so what is it? All the turtles are dead, but one of them?
Exactly.
And it's that adventure? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Rafe? It's Rafe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bloody, and I won't spoil it for you, but it's
okay.
Kind of returned to its roots and all that, and it's a good story. It's just they are definitely they're definitely taking their time.
Oh, we don't know which turtle it is.
No, we do.
Okay.
We do. Yeah, they tell us.
But you don't want to spoil it. You don't.
But you
spoil
find
it.
out in issue 2. Yeah, I don't think you find out in issue 1.
I thought you found out at the end of issue 1, but again, somebody can put there. I know they're pushing Janica in the main series, so that's what they're busy doing.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Image is just putting out like everything on. Like this is the biggest run of Image we've had forever. Yeah.
Well, Bitterroot just got its big movie deal, so they're probably going to get a huge spike.
Yep.
Let's see what else. I love Monstrous.
Yep.
I love Monstrous. Never miss an issue of Monstrous.
Yes.
That is just that's like a feast, a sumptuous feast.
Great series. I enjoy it very much.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we got? I go in and out. Oh, Excellent.
Yeah.
Why are there? Is that second printings on Excellent?
Yeah, one's getting reprinted there. So
okay.
I normally weed those out. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but I love Haha.
Haha is a great book. Yep.
I love that so much. But yeah, the other stuff here, like I don't know. I mean, obviously, Department of Truth is a big fan base. Same thing with Bitterroot. But I feel like Image Comics is still in a like throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks kind of mode. Mm-hmm. Not having a flagship like saga. Like I think people might have underestimated, not the publisher, but like the fans, how much Saga and Walking Dead coming out, like it was a way to lift everything up.
Yeah.
And without like a big without like those two like monumental successes, you're having less people that come in and be like, I'm reading these and like, oh, I should pick up like, oh, there's a new Image number. Oh, there's a new Image title. Like there's less of that now, which I'm pretty sure is,
Can they predict that? I mean, who knew that freaking Walking Dead was going to blow up? A black and white grayscale zombie comic from an indie publisher? And Saga, the same thing. Full disclosure, by the way, and now it's a point of pride. I own every issue of Saga, but I've never read a single issue.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
And I have them in hard copy. I just went and started buying it on the idea. I know I'm going to like this, and I just never got around to it. And then I looked up, and it was a year later, and I had read 0 issues of Saga. And I was like, well, now I have to continue this. Now I got to be the guy who's never read any of the issues of Saga.
Oh, yeah.
One day you're gonna sit down like ready to read through that series. You're gonna have them up, and then you're just gonna hate it, and it's gonna be.
Oh my God! I hope not.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why, since you can't predict it, I think that's why it just has that feeling of like, let's just throw stuff around. Let's see what catches fire, and nothing's caught fire like that. But I think that's part of why you've seen a redoubling on Spawn. If you look, the timeline of Saga and Walking Dead ending and all the effort put into Spawn does kind of align pretty.
Yeah, they're trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay, well, we'll
no,
see.
for sure. In Savage Dragon, the Savage Dragon's son and his wife are going to have sex, so that's coming up in that issue.
Oh, Christ on a crutch!
We can
there you go.
Assume that there.
Did anyone see what was it? I think it was yesterday. Tom Brevoort was just talking about how much he liked Invincible more than Savage Dragon.
Everyone crap on Eric Larson this week.
He was just tweeting.
But you know what's weird? Yeah. You can say what you want, but just probably not to the extreme that Spawn is. But Larson's been doing one thing for quite some time, and he's got a rock solid fan base to buy that thing.
He does. It's very stable numbers. Yeah, not like high, but stable. He knows exactly
like
what
it or don't like it. He can do whatever the hell he wants. That's his baby.
Yeah.
So.
No, I appreciate people sticking with it. He's the next Dave Sim. Wait, no, I don't want to say that.
Well, you all got to go back and
it's the next Dave Sim.
Got to go back and rewatch those the cartoon, the Savage Dragon.
No, you don't. Don't send people to do that. That's just cruelty to animals now.
You do that. You haven't watched the cartoon, and then you send them all those issues where Savage Dragon's having sex, and just like, what the hell?
Like,
I've
how
got-
did this happen?
I've got the numbers for Spawn, which is quite. I mean, people like to say, "When are we getting them?" You're getting them soon. But Spawn is an interesting sales analysis because it really is kind of all over the place. It goes up, it goes down, not randomly, but there's a lot of movement there. Whereas Savage Dragon is like this slow, very consistent drop, but slow, and then it hits this base point and doesn't move. Like Savage Dragon is amazing how the volumes of that comics, like there was a year where there was like a 30 issue movement. I mean, nothing changed. It was kind of cool, but it just he finds his piece and then he sits there and it's interesting. Whereas Spawn has like 100K, 125K swings up and down. It's pretty nuts.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So wait, McFarlane it's the toys that are keeping him alive then.
Well, yeah. I mean, definitely he's made money off that, and the comic is done. I mean, the comic's done well, but it's it Spawn's interesting because it goes very low and then it just rises back up, and then it just he pulls it up, and it's not usually the artist. It's it comes and goes, but it's an interesting analysis. Whereas Savage Dragon is a very boring analysis. It just hits a point and stays there.
Okay, fair enough. But again, he's the one doing it. It's all him.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Enough people out there like it to justify production. So
yeah,
go crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you find something you like and you do it and you own it, it's more power to you. And you know exactly how much money you're gonna make every month. There's some comfort in that. So
I'm all over Beta Ray Bill. I think that book is smoking hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Warren Johnson is
very good.
Is so good. He's another one I slept on for too long. Like I didn't get into his stuff until like towards the end of last year. And again, I was just like, what the hell was I thinking? Why wasn't I reading this guy's work?
Yep. Now, some people are noting they might pick up X-Men for Nimrod. Apparently, there's almost no Nimrod in this book. Just it's mostly Mystique and trying to get her wife resurrected. So
she wants Destiny back. Of course she does.
Yeah.
Would they have some rule about no precogs are allowed to be brought back?
Yeah.
Yep.
Moira's
that's going to cause some trouble.
Yeah, so that's mainly what it's about. So if you're looking for Sentinels and Nimrod and this cover, you're not going to get this cover. So
great.
Oh, that's so funny.
The final issue of Black Panther that's wrapping up.
Yeah.
Before the relaunch that we already know about. So
yeah.
Great that we're getting the relaunch.
What can I say? I'm still licking my wounds on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheezy and Walt on X-Men Legends. There's that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down for that. Wait a minute. Let me check my Comixology. Do I already have one of these?
You should have issue 3. This is the second part.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I've got that. I've got issue 3 right there.
Yeah, nice. That's going to be a lot.
All these Heroes Reborn books I haven't read yet.
Yeah. You and many people.
Well, I bought them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, X-Men Legend. Yeah, so Shadow Man, Valiant. Are either of you in on the new Valiant or?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I read the first issue of the new Shadow Man. I don't know. Is that called Shadow Man 2020?
Yeah.
Because it came out this year.
Yeah.
I read the first issue and I again, not knocking anyone working on it. It's just that I don't know who these books are for because there was like a decent amount of continuity.
Yeah.
That like I feel like you needed to know when you were reading it because they don't hold your hand through a lot of this. And I'm like, there's some stuff if you didn't read like some of that original, like I think it was like David Michelinie like stuff.
Yeah.
From like the 90s, you might be like, what's going on here? You know? And I'm like, I don't think everyone's read it that you're having picked this up. So I don't know if this is the best approach, but all right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like they sort of petered out with Valiant. They had such a strong reboot,
really
and I was all over it for a minute, and then I don't know nothing happened. I just lost interest.
Well, I feel like because I was all in, I was getting every single issue they were putting out during the original relaunch when it was just like 4 titles.
Right.
And then they started expanding, and that's when I was like, okay, well, like what that turned into is instead of buying more books, I whittled it down to like 2.
Right. It made everyone do the opposite thing.
Yeah, and it's not just Valiant. A lot of places people do that, and I feel like everyone takes the wrong lessons from these sort of things, and it's a bit disheartening.
Speaking of a bit disheartening, as some people pointing out, that rabbit didn't need to be in that mirror, I think, right?
Well,
No,
I mean,
I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, this is Xenoscope, who puts out comics. Yeah, Man Goat and Bunny Man #2. I don't know where the Man Goat is, but maybe that's a good thing that we're not. Yeah. The rabbit looks alarmed. Yeah.
I'm with the rabbit.
Source Point Press. Yeah, they've got a lot of things coming out. I do want to thank, I should have mentioned earlier, Scout has been sending a lot of really nice like marketing material explaining their comics, which has been very much appreciated. And I'll turn that into some videos and things. But I love they're taking a good shot at marketing, which is really nice to see.
That's awesome. 25th. What was it? That Source Point. That's my buddy Frankie White does that comic. So
very nice.
So yeah, I mean, people check that out. There's I don't know a lot of these other ones. It's a lot of stuff. Yuki versus Panda. What's going on?
What the hell does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
I have to imagine it's similar to the cover we're seeing here.
I mean, and damned cursed children is just what I mutter to myself every time I go into like a restaurant and there's a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
I have nothing for or against any of the comics I'm looking at because I don't know anything about any of them.
For sure.
Like literally nothing.
Tim seems carved out an interesting little niche with Money Shot, and that seems
okay.
Very well. Money Shot goes over well. It could be more hardcore, but that's a different question or a different conversation. What was it? Resident, my buddy Skylar is the illustrator on that book right now. Was it Heavy? That's Max Bemis and Eric Donovan.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? So all you people that thought, where'd Max Bemis go from comics? He's still doing comics. Yeah, he's at Vault. Also, another Marvel writer at Vault, Blue Flame #1. That's Chris Cantwell.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's going to be in that comic.
Yeah, it's a superhero book he's doing through Vault. And then Engine Ward is Joe Eisma is the artist on that one.
Okay.
And Giga is Alex Packnadel, who's done some Marvel stuff, but I think he really blew up with at Vault with Friendo a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we like Vault. I haven't checked out any of their material.
Yeah, they put out some good stuff. I really like the Autumnal. The Plot is one of their best books for like a horror book. That's Michael Morici and Tim Daniel.
I'll put them on the list.
Yeah,
I love a new company.
It's a little bit of everything. There's some good stuff. There's some stuff I've really enjoyed from Vault, and there's some stuff that's been terrible. So it's they've got a lot of different things for different people. But
I will take recommendations.
Yeah,
that's great.
In terms of manga, here's what we've got here. Now, I want to point out, like, as we're looking at this cover, so earlier this week, and we don't need to go into the who, but there was this comment that was made that since I'm paraphrasing, but the U.S. comics cleaned up their act and manga's where the perverts are at. In hindsight to what we just went through over the last 7 or so pages, I don't know if that. I mean, the sexiest thing we have here is a girl eating a giant burger.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I don't know who made that comment, but manga isn't all encompassing. So it goes all the way from stuff for 2 or 3 year olds all the way up to XXX porn. So you can't really point at any particular individual manga and go, that's representative of manga. Like there's nothing representative of manga.
Yes.
So
I always hate when genres are described that way. Like, it must be the incels that are reading the manga. It's like, okay, but have you seen, I point you to Jungle Fantasy Comics.
Exactly.
I would like.
But what's that company? NBM, right? That's all they put out is high grade porn, basically.
It's French,
well drawn. Not all of them. Some of them.
Not all of it's French, but they put out a lot of French books.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, they put out high grade porn. It's still porn.
Yeah.
It's just really well drawn.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they put out some good stuff. What was it? Terry over there he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like somebody saying here. I'm always. It's always nice when people generalize an entire culture in one tweet. But okay.
Yeah. Well, MBM is in the same office as Paper Cuts.
Yes, hysterical.
Where Jim Salicrup, when we interviewed Jim Salicrup, he was at the Paper Cuts office, like across from MBM when we were talking to him.
He was in his office. Yeah.
It was that was so good. It's so funny. Like I love Jim so much.
Yeah, that was a fun interview.
Larry Flint being across from Walt Disney.
That was also the case where in that interview we could have easily gone 6 hours. Like,
oh, for sure. No, I love Jim to pieces. Every once in a while, I'd like run into him in like the street and just be like, Jim.
Yeah.
And I sat next to him when we watched. We were at the Marvel screening for Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah.
And,
Jim's great.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah. Best title on here, somebody already said, but I think Hard-Boiled Stories from the Cat Bar. That's got to be that.
That's making me think, because didn't you? They've had them here too, but those like cat cafes.
Oh yeah.
I went to one at they had one at one of the San Diego cons.
Yeah.
Or at least one was in, and I went, what the fuck? And it wasn't because of the con. I was there because of the con. And we was like, hey, let's go to the cat bar. And I was like, you're full of shit. There's no such thing as that.
Oh, yeah.
And sure as hell, there really was. Oh my God.
I mean, the trick with pet ownership. So you have puppy coffee and cat bars in Japan. And there's ones with bunnies as well. I know. And that you can go and you can just pet bunnies while you have your coffee. But there's also... the maid cafes and the host cafes where like there's guys dressed up in shorts and a tuxedo top, and they will, but it's the goal is to there's one of the funniest ones is you go in and it's either my girlfriend cafe or my ex-girlfriend cafe, and basically what they do when you come in is they flip a coin, and you're either getting your loving girlfriend or your hated ex-girlfriend serving you.
Oh my God! It's like it's a whole other country.
Yeah.
Is what it's like.
Yes, it's like it's all
like, what are those people up to?
Yeah.
It's like back when they used to have those crazy restaurants in like Times Square, like Mission to Mars and like that ninja restaurant.
Yeah.
Wait, what? There's a ninja restaurant?
There used to be a ninja restaurant in Times Square.
Oh my God.
There's
Why did I miss that?
I'll get off it, but I could talk about this for 3 hours. But Japan loves the theme restaurants, and
yes.
they've got Catch a Fish restaurant where you sit around a pool and they give you a fishing pool, and you pull a fish out of the water, and then somebody rushes over and slices it up on your table, which is pretty awesome and horrifying if people don't like fish. And they also have their version of the ninja restaurant where you come and they try and sneak the food onto your plate, which is also pretty hilarious. So
that's hysterical.
Yeah.
I would pay money for that.
My God. Is Gas Panic still in Roppongi?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always felt
out more
offensive, but it's definitely there. Yeah.
Nice. I saw someone in the chat mention the WWF restaurant in Times Square. I've been to that a couple of times.
Yeah. That's a look up themed restaurants Japan. You will see a lot of things. There was a cadaver restaurant there where they would wheel out this fake cadaver with food inside of it. And you would open
No. Hard pass. Hard fucking pass.
Yeah, that was like super, super gross. Yeah. So like to the point. Yeah. So I should
what the hell?
Yeah. So,
Okay, what am I looking at here?
Just to point out.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, I don't know that manga. You know, maybe they don't have that as.
What do we say? We have to keep correcting everyone. These manga is not a genre. It's
That's
a delivery system.
That is
Okay.
exactly right.
Yep.
Yes.
Comics are not a genre. They are a delivery system for storytellers.
Mhm.
So of course they run the fucking gamut. Of course
Yes.
they do.
And
Yeah,
and a
so-
bigger gamut. I mean, last week we had Dick Fight Island as one of the titles.
Yeah.
We did
I mean,
Oh,
Yeah, and I made the joke last week too, but I'm like, I know Steve Orlando must have been kicking himself because he absolutely would have named a comic Dick Fight Island.
yeah,
that is some funny shit right there.
it is.
Oh my god.
They have everything. It's absolutely true, and that's and it's nice. And I do think that's the thing I'd love for comics in the U.S. to learn and copy a little bit. Like there's room for everything.
Agreement.
You know.
Agreement.
Yeah.
More.
Agreement.
So we have here. Let's talk Green Lantern for a minute, if you don't mind.
Let's go, baby.
So I first of all, you put in a lot of like issue 2 brought a lot of mythology to the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
How like you answered a number of questions it feels like people have had for a long time. Like why are there so many Earth Green Lanterns and just where do things fit? Did your editor or did somebody come to you saying, you know what, we really would like for you to answer these questions? Or
No.
did you just come up with that pitch?
Well, it was little. I won't say a hard no. What they liked about the world building. Oh my goddamn! All right. If I start getting too fucking long-winded, please just cut me off.
No.
All right. When I pitched the original John Stewart story, there was a lot of world building that went into it because it was a sort of off to the left story.
Mhm.
And I now, in hindsight, am thinking that all of the world building I did for that, they were like, huh, well, that's cool.
Mhm.
So basically, a lot of my thoughts are, what do you call it? If this is true, as established in the canon, then why isn't this true? And if they had no good answer, they're like, I guess it's true. And I was like, cool. And it goes into the checkbox. So when it evolved out into me writing the whole book, they were making sure that I kept all of that stuff. So, and one of the things that I had to get by them, I didn't have to fight to get by them, but I asked them questions like, do you want me to address this? Would you care if I address that? You know, what are we going to do about the Morrison verse? Because it's basically his take is his own take. It's as if you let Jack Kirby loose on it. So, and they were like, basically do your thing and we'll pull you back if you go too far. So these are a lot of it is just my own thoughts about how to reconcile a bunch of stuff that it's just almost like pruning a tree. It's nothing that any individual creative or an editorial team did on purpose, but after 20 odd years, it's like, do we need that to be that way? Or if that's true, then doesn't that erase this other thing? And if they're both true, then one of them might be a lie. And they're fine with it right now. I don't know why, guys. I honestly don't. There's no like, I'm constantly, not the fake way, like I'm surprised they're letting us get away with this shit. Not that, but I'm like, you know, I'm more like I will just post up stuff knowing that it's probably going to get shot down. And only about 10% of the stuff I've posted up so far has gotten shot down. So I'm like, cool, let's go. Until they tell me to stop, I'm going to keep going. And yeah, it's
been great to answer it. What strikes me is like you're answering some questions to why the Guardians operate the way they operate and other things that it really feels like somebody should have answered before. No offense, but like I'm glad you're finally doing it. It's nice.
I'm thinking about it like a science fiction book. And even though it's a comic book and there's a lot of things you cannot do, there's a lot of baseline concepts that we've taken for granted because people just say them. But I try to look at what the meaning is. So for instance, the Guardians have been alive for billions of years. Well, that means they're wildly dissimilar from basically every other organism in the universe, right? They're consciously, constantly aware of the multiverse and the omniverse, again, making them very dissimilar to even their closest in age neighbor, right? Like maybe the controllers are similar to the Guardians in that respect. Maybe the Zamorans are similar to the Guardians in that respect, but that's like 4 sets of cousins, maybe. right? That means that they're truly alien to basically almost every other species. So let's play with their alienness, not just physically alien, but like the way they perceive life, the way they interact with their servants, the Green Lanterns. With all of that, to me, was in play. They're beyond good and evil from our concepts of good and evil. They're like Galactus. Like they think they're doing the right thing, but they operate on such a scale that, like, does the cancer cell think you're doing a right thing when you cure the cancer in the body? Wouldn't the cancer cells have something to say about getting killed off?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
They might not be happy with the fucking doctors. You know, like, I have a right to try and live. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Why can't I win sometimes? Like, so if that's been going on for 4.5 billion years, 12 billion years.
Yeah,
like,
it's going to really alter the perspective of everyone.
Yeah, let's play with it. Let's play with it. So
some people are asking, what are some of your favorite sci-fi books, or do you have like a go-to series?
Yeah,
I know that's a big question.
I'm old, guys, so some of the things I'm going to say may be dated. I'm a big Roger Zelazny fan. I'm a big Seanan McGuire fan, or Mira Grant fan, I should say. Both, actually. Let's see, what's his name? Weir, who wrote The Martian. He's fucking amazing. Obviously, the classic guys. I love Asimov and Clark. Huge Greg Bear fan. Huge Tad Williams fan. I read a lot of this stuff. Like, I go back. Frank Herbert, but not the obvious Dune stuff. One of his favorite books is a book called The Dosity Experiment. I recommend it highly. Probably my go-to is Ursula Le Guin. Probably my favorite, top shelf. Octavia Butler. And in Green Lantern lore, Nora Jemisin. That chick is freaking Olympic class. I was terrified that they wanted me to use the Far Sector Lantern at all. I was like, are you people high? Just let that book sit on a shelf. Like, that should just be like the same way I feel about Watchmen. You shouldn't have done anything with Watchmen. You should have let that just sit and be what it was. Like, I felt the same way about Far Sector. And I'm supposed to be the guy to pick that one up? Holy shit. So, yeah, I love sci-fi. I recommend those writers for sure. What's his name? Stephen Brust. He's sort of a fantasy writer, not really a sci-fi writer. But, I'm deep in the game, baby. I love that shit.
I'm curious to hear what you think, Joe, but real quick on this panel we're seeing right here, I appreciated this scene, both of these scenes, in the sense that, because we first thought it was remarkably, it doesn't happen enough, where you've got this untrained kid and you see these soldiers who have been training and fighting for decades or whatever in linear verse time, like 3 weeks.
I just got the ring, you fuckers.
Yeah, exactly. But I appreciated the like, you're a kid, you know, the simplicity of treating them like they are. I mean, it was very nice.
Shocking. Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this a little bit, certainly off the mic, but I feel like superheroes should be unique both in power set and personality. And Brian Bendis sent me a nice, very direct message on Twitter saying thanks for using Kelly, because I guess he didn't know I was definitely going to use her and all that. But I just told him I promised not to kill her. I made no other promises about what happens with Kelly. But
perfect.
Yeah, she's 11, so let her be fucking 11. So that means she's going to be sometimes courageous, sometimes annoying. All the things you as a parent know an 11-year-old would be like. And I think that makes her more interesting rather than less. It doesn't let all these people who hate her for being a Mary Sue. She's obviously not that. Like, after issue 2, you can't think of her that way. So, and I think she adds a flavor of both wonder and irritation, because she's constantly going, holy crap, you know, this is some big shit we're dealing with. Holy crap. But on the other side of that, she wants to jump in and help. And I can't think that that's a bad thing. I just don't do that, like, precocious super genius kid. I don't do that. So anyone who's looking for that, you're going to be disappointed because I'm never going to make a kid like that in any of my comics.
Yeah, those are annoying.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Respect for those who do. I'm just not one of them.
So you're seeing panels, obviously, if you're in chat. If you haven't read Green Lantern, you're getting a little bit of spoilers here. So if that matters to you, now would be the time to click away. But some people in the chat have mentioned it. So Jeff, it looked like Simon is potentially in some bad straits in the end of this issue.
Well, all the lanterns are in bad straits. I think if you use your brain, you can extrapolate what happened. So I don't know if I'm talking out of school. I hate that we all do this now, but back when we were kids, no one had access to the solicits. We just had to wait until the freaking book came out.
Yeah, those were
but the solicits for the next 3 issues, I think, are up. So Simon's not dead because he's mentioned in the solicits.
Right.
So basically, for purposes of your audience, this is not really a spoiler, but the effect of what happened with the battery, the closer you were to it, the more explosive the effect. So the further away from it you are, maybe your ring doesn't blow up, but it just goes dead. So that's not going to be any less deadly, but it's going to be less gruesome, I guess is a better way of saying it. There's with both this and Future States, there was some conversation between me, the artist, and editorial about how gruesome. I think my tendency is to go a little bit darker, and the artist will draw what I write. They're not worried about it one way or the other. But sometimes when we see the art come back, the artist and I are on the same page, and editorial's like, okay, we're going to dial that one back. Yeah. So a couple of panels so far have had to be redrawn because of what I wrote and what was drawn.
Now,
but yeah.
It does. I like the characters in jeopardy. It's almost like you have and so far they're not. It's kind of like Joe's comic. They're not eating. They're just having adventures and being in jeopardy. So
Kelly ate in the first issue and mentions being starving in the second issue. I'm trying to keep up with the food part of the story, but it gets left behind sometimes. Now that you mention it, I'll make a point of putting in an eating scene.
Yeah, we definitely. Not a scene. No, a full issue, just a dinner party.
Oh dear God! Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If I make it to the second arc, I will give you your dinner party. If we survive to arc 2, I promise you at least half an issue of people just sitting around eating and talking. We'll call it the Perch. And I will name a character in it Perch, just so you know I really did it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
That's characters eating is tight, so can't wait.
You'll see. It'll be glorious. It'll be fucking glorious. I didn't say what they would be eating or who. I just said they'd be sitting around eating.
Other lanterns. This is how you get rid of Hal Jordan. They're eating Hal.
Hal.
Yeah.
Poor Hal.
Poor
Hal. Yeah. I keep telling everybody Hal is the safest lantern in the entire book.
Yeah. They don't believe you, man.
I don't know why. I'm not killing Hal Jordan. I promise you, Hal Jordan will not die. Okay?
Yeah. It's painful. You wanted to the fact of Earth having more green. This is a cool revelation in the book that basically Earth is destined, or is it, how do you put it? Earth's destined to become the 5th world.
Well, one of the things that it's fun being an old guy in comics is you remember a lot that the newer people don't even know existed. For instance, I didn't make that up. Grant Morrison made that up. That the Earth was going to one day be the 5th world. That's from one of the, I don't know, Infinite or Final Crisis or one of those things where maybe 7 soldiers. He made an offhand remark. One of the characters makes an offhand remark about it. And I thought that was kind of cool. So I threw it in there as a reason, as the underlying reason, not only for why there's 7 Green Lanterns, but why so much shit just happens on the fucking Earth all the goddamn time. It's important because it's the crux of Heroes. So of course it generates all of this stuff. Like, why are there so many Shazams? Why are there so many Flashes? Why would the Speed Force constantly make more Flashes? Why would the gods of coincidence? It's not like the Guardians gave those rings out. Oh, we need to give 7 rings, to these Green Lanterns. But how odd of a coincidence, which we established in issue 1, the Guardians don't believe in coincidence, right? That within one human lifetime, 7 freaking Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. So, like, a coincidence is twice. 3 times someone's doing it. 7 times, that's a real freaking intent. So let's just lean into it, is my vibe, right? Let's come up with a real reason. I am not crossing over with linear verse.
You're not.
Insane.
Okay, definitive answer there. Yeah, that's pretty
I
good.
do not know what the fuck that was.
Well, good news, because I don't
like,
know if anybody else does either. So
I was like, wait, everyone's alive forever and remembers everything? What the hell?
it's terrible. How about how about this? Take Green Lantern to Black Label, go nuts.
I mean, the question has not crossed my mind. When I say that I'm surprised at what they're letting me do, that's part of why. I'm like, there is a version of this where they just shove this over into the Black Label side and let me go off. I think they right now want some of the things I'm doing to become mainstream. Not necessarily the stuff I'm even doing with the Green Lanterns, but more with the sort of general underpinnings of the cosmic DCU. I think that they're liking that, so I think they want to keep. I think they want to keep me doing that stuff. If you put it in Black Label, then it's off in its own little separate reality, and I don't think they want that right now. But I wouldn't mind that. All I would change it would be from a PG-13 to maybe sometimes an R from time to time. Like,
yeah. I don't know how
I do not represent DC. I represent the Green Lantern comic book. I have no knowledge of any workings of anything. I read on the internet this week that apparently there's some giant crisis event that's coming up in 2 years. I have no knowledge of that. I literally have no knowledge of that.
Oh, they're referring to the merger with Discovery is the crisis. No, I'm kidding. Funny. So funny.
Yeah, I don't have knowledge of that. I consciously don't seek out knowledge of that kind unless it influences my book. If it doesn't influence my book, I don't care. Yeah. Like I'm not going to kill off any of their other characters, and they better not kill off any of mine. Like that, I'm not worried about it otherwise.
Yeah. How about are you crossing over the Omniverse?
I mean, isn't everything automatically crossed over with the Omniverse? There you go. Like
yes, you heard it here first.
Yeah. I guess so. Well, I mean, it depends what you mean by that, right? Like, it's hard to talk about this stuff critically without sounding like you're criticizing other writers, which I'm absolutely not doing. There's no need for such a thing as an omniverse, because once you have multiverse, that's everything. But since we do have omniverse, yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically, it crosses over with everything. So, yes.
Okay. How about we always get it. Familiar faces, Ganthet, Raimi.
They're off with the blues, aren't they? Pardon
What's that?
Aren't they off with the Blue Lanterns right now?
I believe so. Yeah.
Ganthet, pardon me. I'm sorry. Ganthet just got killed. He's part of the Quintessence.
Oh, okay.
Darkseid just killed him in Infinite Frontier Frontier Zero. Yeah, he got killed. So no more Ganthet, baby. Ganthet gone. He gone bye-bye.
Yeah.
But so I didn't do that. So take it up with somebody. Yeah, I guess it would just be Raimi, and she's probably feeling a certain amount of grief over the loss of her boy. But we're not going to be seeing too much of the other Spectrum Lanterns in this arc. There's just not space for it. So we will see a couple of them. We've seen them, but I mean, they won't be playing a sort of gigantic front and center role in this arc. Yeah. Most of them.
How about, do you guys think Black Label will last? And for how long? And hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Sean, your guess is as good as mine, man. I hope it lasts because of the freedom it affords to people that are participating in it. But, I think it's all sales based, unless some lunatic editor thinks we just don't need it. I mean, if the books are selling under that, then they'll keep it. Like, I think.
Yeah. I think there will always be something like Black Label. I don't know if they'll call it Black Label.
That's a better answer. Yeah.
That. And speaking of, because I like to vet my frustrations with these kind of questions, I have I own two omnibuses. I own more than that, but two in particular I'm going to talk about here: the Garth Ennis Hellblazer omnibus and the Nancy Collins Swamp Thing omnibus.
Wow.
They are Black Label omnibuses. There's no Black Label comics in it, but the comics start with the main DC comics and then become Vertigo comics.
Weird.
And I hate it. I hate that they're like, oh, this is a Black Label comic that's DC and Vertigo. It's like I don't know why both companies do this, but in this instance, particularly DC, they bend over backwards to make it as complicated to purchase and read their product.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to dump Vertigo, which I never understood why that was necessary.
Yeah.
I guess theoretically it puts Black Label on a clock because all it really is a less specific version of Vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, and I felt like this for years, I feel like a tiered comic book offering system where I can go, oh, Black Label. Okay, it's that version of the DCU.
Yep.
And then that's for grown-ups. And I know as a parent, I don't want to see my 12-year-olds with any freaking Black Label books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go read those Yellow Label or whatever the fuck the middle label is, you know, and I definitely don't want to see my 5-year-olds with any Black Label books, but I want them to exist because the stories are awesome. So that to me, marketing wise, would be a smart move, but I'm a comic book geek. Like, it serves me to have it be that way. I have no idea what goes into the marketing's heads. Literally no clue. So
I think they're going to keep it going until the point that somebody in marketing decides that there could be this hot new brand like Boobs and Guns, and then it will be called that for a while. And,
Boob window.
Yeah,
Boob
or
window.
a Vertigo anniversary of some kind or something like
Sure.
that. Like,
I think
What was the other one?
concept-
Helix.
Yeah.
Helix,
Remember
yeah,
Helix?
Helix. Yeah, that's where Transmetropolitan came from.
Yep.
Yeah, it was right. It was a science fiction version of Vertigo,
Yeah,
but it didn't last.
And Howard Shakin's Cyberella.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it will last. I think the concept will last, but I'll bet you the brand in 5 years is a different brand.
Yeah.
Sure, probably.
Yeah.
But I feel like it circles back on what we've been talking about with older creators, is that part of, I think, the reason some creators age out is that they want to tell different kinds of stories. And it's my feeling that superheroes they can't sustain the complexity of certain kinds of stories because of the restrictions that go with the baseline set of superheroes. But if you had a separate venue where it was okay for, you know, sexuality and hyperviolence and things like that, basically the difference between a PG, a PG-13, and an R, but that it was dedicated so you knew for sure that's what it was, I think there'd be less stress about it, and that people would know where to deliver certain kinds of materials, and they would not feel the need to sort of stretch the middle grade stuff to fit. You know, let the creators grow up and let them have a space to grow up into.
And they also have to stop, like, they need a better overall strategy on the middle grade stuff, because it seems like a lot of the middle grade books that are being attempted lately are, this is a kid superhero in middle school and their bully is their arch nemesis in the future, and they have a girl there or you know, a same sex or opposite sex person they're interested in,
Right.
And it turns out that you can defeat your bully without violence. It's just regurgitated over and over again, and they need to break that for, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to watch and enjoy what adults liked. I wasn't like, oh boy, I'm 10, I better read stuff for kids. Like, that's not how kids function. So you have to at least trick the kids into thinking it's something that
I
an
think
adult would like.
Yeah, that's the problem too. Like, but there's a weird thing. I learned this in animation, and it bugged me when I got into animation. There's a huge difference between writing for kids and writing all ages.
Yes,
right.
For
sure. What do you call it? Indiana Jones. Now I don't know what the rating is, but when it came out, that was a all ages movie. The Raiders of the Lost Ark is an all ages movie.
Which was
right?
great when you watch the faces melt at the end. Yeah.
Well, I mean, some kids can't take it, but a lot of kids could because most of us saw that damn movie.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so my point on that is there's a weird sort of conflating of for children and all ages when that's not true. So, if you just said this is DC Comics encompasses everything from regular DC Comics and everything from stuff pointed at younger kids to young adults. But that if you really want to get rough, here's your Black Label. And I don't just mean rough in terms of violence and sex. I mean in terms of complexity. There are just literally certain kinds of stories that can't be told in monthly spandex beating up other people in spandex comics. You need edges on it. You need curves on it. The Watchmen is a good example. It just trying to mix them with the DCU is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't make any sense to do that. It was not designed to fit that way. So, you can do it because you own it, but why? You already have the originals with the Carlton characters. Just use them. Go crazy. So anyway, whatever.
I wanted to ask you. Joe pointed out that it was on a good sale, so picked up the Legion of Superheroes 5 years later omnibus. This particular set of panels really reminded me of that. But how good would or how useful is it for people to be maybe familiar with that run as your book, would you say?
I would say this. This is a Green Lantern book, but the backdrop of the Green Lantern book is all of Cosmic DC. Yeah. So, and my knowledge of Cosmic DC goes pretty far back. So if you want to, pick up a whole bunch of Kirby stuff, you might want to do that. If you want to pick up the 5 year gap in Legion, or really anything in the Legion, almost any iteration of the Legion might help you. Justice Society might help you. That stuff, you know what I mean? Like anything that involves Alan Scott probably will help you.
Okay.
I tried very hard to create things out of the real DC cosmic mythology as well as the specific Green Lantern mythology, so that once I'm out of it, other writers can pick up the threads that I don't have time to or never get an opportunity to. But like, for instance, with the Magic Lady Iridian, well, she's under the impression that the Starheart is buried inside Oa, but we all know that Alan Scott basically ate the Starheart and it's him now. Yep. So we've got a whole bunch of really powerful magical terrorists who have not yet found out that the Starheart is a guy now.
Yeah.
I don't have any big plans to do anything with that yet, but that doesn't mean other people can't. Excellent. So go have a ball. Like, that's part of the fun of this to me, is setting up new relationships, new paradigms. And yes, go and read all of DC Comics, because all of DC Comics is influenced, all of cosmic DC Comics. Joe Chill is not going to show up in this book.
Okay. If you didn't read the DC Universe decisions, you'd be okay. You don't need to read that.
Say that again?
You don't need to read that limited series decisions, the one where they all decided whether they were Republicans or Democrats.
Oh, Christ on a crutch. Really? No, you don't have to read that shit.
You don't have to read that limited series. That was so much fun. No. Hey, spoiler, Guy Gardner is a Republican.
Oh boy, so sad for Guy. Whatever. Yeah. Like, and I mean,
Green Arrow is liberal, if you didn't know.
Yeah. So, if you didn't know that from what, 1974 or whatever.
What a fun series. Yeah. All right. Here, let's see if I can embarrass you a little bit. All right, so 3 panels, same thing. You tell me, intentional or not intentional. What do you say? We'll go here. How about this?
Okay.
This is old, so I think this one's a gimme. But what do you think, Joe and Jeff?
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah.
There's unintentional. Unintentional. Yeah.
I think it's unintentional. I think that's a difference of the time period when it was made and now. I don't think Boner meant the same thing.
Yeah.
There was a period of time. It wasn't a long period of time though. There was like in the course of like half a year where the characters were suddenly making a lot of boners all over the place. Yeah. It's definitely. I agree. I think it's unintentional, but it is funny in hindsight. And didn't want. I mean, Joe. I don't know if you did. Some of the reprints have changed this. They've gone and edited the word. Have you picked up on that?
No.
I haven't seen any of the reprint, but I'm sure they did at some point. I'm not sure. I feel like with the Golden Age omnibuses and things like that they've been trying to keep the original, but I mean they've done a lot of reprints of some of the earlier stuff. So
yeah. It they do it badly though. I'll grab some panels. I should have done it this time, but they said like they do the what does he mean, Bruce? How can he force you into a dumb? And it just makes Robin sound like he's an idiot. So it's anyway. There you go. All right, this one's an easy one. How about this here? This is another old Superman gag.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the it's not a first idea. I couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. I think that's just out of context.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so.
There was do you remember the context behind this, Joe, by any chance?
I'm not sure I remember the context from this one. I will say I might split down the middle here in the sense that like I think the dialogue's unintentional, but I wouldn't be shocked if depending on if the artist knew what the dialogue was or not, having Lois make that face.
Yeah.
Did she get spanked? Because she's got those like ouch lines coming off her butt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did the robot spank her?
Yeah, the robot pounded. Well, not pound her. The robot spanked her, I think, pretty good a bunch. And
okay, then it's intentional.
Yeah. If
the robot spanked her, it's intentional.
Yeah, I think I'll have to go actually dig up this issue, but yeah, it was that's right. He's got it. A Superman robot spanked Lois for snooping.
Yeah, no, that's all intentional.
Yeah,
that's somebody working out their jollies through the kitty books.
That's
exactly. Sorry about it.
Yeah, ouch lines. That's right. All right.
Superman robot spanked Lois for snooping.
How about this dialogue here? And I'll say this one cuts a couple different ways.
Can't penetrate myself. I don't have my fist.
Jesus Christ. I think it's unintentional, but damn.
Yeah, no, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's a bunch of things going on here with Iron Man, and I think this is not Tony. I think this is Rhodey when he was in the army.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I may be wrong. But I do think, the thinker, if Iron Man's coming at you, basically saying my fist is about to penetrate you, I think the thinker is peeing himself.
I mean, yeah. I don't want anyone in that suit saying anything like that to me.
He certainly wouldn't be able to help but pee himself if Iron Man came through with that promise too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that's dramatic. I think it's just overly dramatic.
It's dramatic. I mean, Iron Man looks like he is not fucking around here. He's like,
no.
He's also.
Rhodey was a rough Iron Man. He was definitely a rough Iron Man.
He is prepared for some murder right now.
I'm here to murder you. I'm not playing around.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think this sums it up very well right here. Yeah, if he.
Jesus Christ. What's weird too is that when you isolate these things out, I'm sure I read this comic and it didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But when you take out the one frame, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, Iron Man is he's done with diplomacy, and now
I've had it.
He's going to put a new hole in you. Is what's going on.
Fuck you, thinker.
Yeah,
fuck you, thinker.
He's
Iron Fisting Man. That's hysterical.
No.
I'm the Iron Fisting Man. Well, it's an amalgam character, really, is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
First appearance of my fist. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, some stuff.
First appearance of my fist, last appearance of you.
Well played, chat. Well played, chat.
You guys know what you're doing. That's a hell of a time. This turned out to be a crazy week, and now I'm waiting for Mumbles is going to criticize this particular segment of comics that came out this week, but I think he's going to be
Okay.
because I think this week is one that he might appreciate here. I do appreciate the nonplussed view of Sue Storm here.
It's like
He is,
I'm so killing everyone in this room right now.
yeah. Sue is over it. She is not happy with this idea. Yes, absolutely. So this week gave us absolutely first issue of Alpha Flight, and the other first issue of this little comic that a few people apparently like. So
Whoa. Own both of them?
yeah.
I hear you can still get Spawn #1 at just about any comic shop.
Yeah, there's
that true?
definitely a lot out there.
No,
There's a
listen to
lot.
me. I'm stupid. Really? Did they make a lot? No, they didn't. I had a few of those actually. Well, there had to have been a variant cover. I'm guaranteeing there was a variant cover.
There was,
Spawn.
there was a bagged version. I thought I'm now, or maybe I'm confusing with Spider-Man #1, which definitely had a couple versions out. But
I loved Alpha Flight. I loved them when they showed up in the X-Men the first time, and I was all in. Well, I was a burn victim at the time, so
yeah,
basically he could do no wrong. And when this showed up, I was like, "Oh dear God, I'm ready for it."
yeah. No, this was a good week. This was a good week of #1s. I mean, both of these had definitely an impact on comics, and I love Burn during this time. It was wonderful.
I love how much they're making sure everyone is going to buy Alpha Flight #1. You write X-Men on the cover. You have Spider-Man, Cyclops, Captain America, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four. You're just like, everyone's here, buddy. Come on, pick it up.
I don't think he would appear in the comic, but yeah.
No, it was just a cover. You knew what he was doing.
But Spawn, when Spawn came out, this was '92, I think, and this was before you'd had a lot of Image #1s come out, and then like no #2s for a while. So this was when you felt the industry changing in a pretty major way. You had this one of the biggest guys at Marvel suddenly doing his own thing, and there's the cape and all of his art, and I mean it was a big deal. This was a
It
really was.
What was it? That was before the that big Image signing at Golden Apple Comics where they had like the helicopter and everything. Like,
yes, that's correct. Because it was, I think, the same year. The first time I went to San Diego was that year, and they had the freaking Image spaceship in the middle of the convention center, and I was like, "What the?" And didn't we have to wait? I remember that there was one of the books everyone was waiting for, and I think it was Wildcats.
Yes.
That Spawn came out, and they announced Wildcats, and then its first issue was like a month late or something.
There were so many delays.
We were losing our shit, man. Like we were like, "Where the fuck is Wildcats?" And it's like, you haven't even read Wildcats. All you've seen is the cover. What are you talking about?
It was, I mean, to Todd's credit, and it's funny. He reservedly so gets a lot of credit for his art and everything he's created. The one thing that I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for is he more or less shipped his comic on time. And at Image, that was, I mean, he carried a lot of other kind of the founders by actually getting his comic out on time. And even when he, I think, became aware he wasn't going to be able to put his comic out on time, or he then handed it off to somebody else so the comic could keep going. And that was, I wish a lot of others would have done that. But,
I think, well, you guys know better than me. I think a lot of creative types are not also business heads, and they assume it's going to be easy. And I think McFarlane is just a really good businessman.
Yeah,
absolutely, he is. Yeah.
There's that video of him on like QVC hawking comics. From like the 90s. You got to check that out, people.
He was
not playing around.
Yeah.
He did not meet a business challenge that he didn't like. I mean, he constantly hawked his stuff, and other creators at various times would be too good for that kind of stuff, and McFarlane would go to all kinds of things to get the comics out. So good on him. But
I own both of these too.
Right. Yeah, so two other #1s this week. ElfQuest, which kind of, epic. A lot of people have forgotten ElfQuest, but this was a big deal.
ElfQuest was the shit, and I remember buying that when it was Warp Graphics in its oversized black and white version. I tracked ElfQuest wherever it went. Like whatever publisher it was at, I was there for it. It was one of those I don't know. It weirdly got lost in the shuffle. I always thought it would blow up and have its own like little movie industry based on it, animated series based on it, and it just never never caught. And I still think there's an audience for it. I just don't know why it hasn't blown up.
Yeah.
I do too. I think it would fit. I think this is one of those cases where you kind of want to see Netflix or somebody do an animated series based on this, and some interest. It'd be a good plan. Yeah.
And Invaders was my jam, dude. God
Invaders
damn,
was great.
Them.
Yeah. I love both of these. What else? Yeah, and two more. So this was the week of number 1. So Archer and Armstrong. Speaking of Valiant. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, I own these both too. How weird is this? Wait. That Guy Gardner Reborn. Let me take my brain back. Hold on. Is this the one where he didn't have a ring and wanted a ring and went around trying to get the yellow ring and going through all of these crazy shenanigans to get the yellow ring? Because that book was insane.
This was a limited series, right? This is a 3-issue, I think, series.
Yeah, and
it's right on the
Joe
cover,
Staten on the art.
Yep.
Oh
Yep, Joe Staten. And by the way, if you haven't
crazy.
listened to that, there's a great interview with him up that Joe's an awesome guy.
Oh, it's up. Great.
Yeah, he's the politest guy in the world. He said the nicest things about not liking Dick Giorgiano and things like that. It was
Nobody liked him. Why? What did he do to everyone?
I don't know, but he is so polite about it. It is ridiculous.
He is.
That's
It
funny.
was such a great interview because he is very, just a class guy all around. But
Well, that is a wild book. Everybody should do themselves a favor, even if you don't buy it. You need to read that book. It is fucking crazy.
now, are you going to be putting Guy Gardner in this outfit in your series?
Well, no.
No. Okay. We're not getting him in a midriff.
No crop top for
crop top. Sun's
I
out.
think he's a one-piece guy. I think he's really a one-piece guy. I don't think he's a bikini guy.
No.
Well, he's not in the crop top verse.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. This was the week of number 1.
Bring back that outfit, you coward. Oh my God, Bart Sears.
Yeah. Bart Sears and Walter Simonson there on RoboCop.
Yeah.
I own both of these. Okay, talk about your variant cover. This one for sure had a 3-dimensional jewel as part of the cover on the variant.
Sucked. I mean that fucking thing ruined every comic. Like there was one good copy of this. It was one on the top. I'm sorry, the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom was good.
Right.
Everything else
the
got
one on the
ruined.
bottom.
Yes. This
sorry.
stupid little plastic jewel pierced through every comic that was stacked on top of it. It was a pain in my ass. So we'll always I saw this come up and I'm like, this fucking thing. I haven't thought about it in like 20 years. Anyway.
I've been to the wars, baby. Let me tell you about the great jewel fiasco of 1993.
I'm old and crappy. I said it before you did. So for those of you who don't know, this cover shipped with a little pink or purple plastic jewel that was kind of 3-dimensional with a sharp-ish edge on the jewel that was kind of glued to the cover there, and it was a pain in the ass.
Oh my God, those were the days. How crazy!
Yeah, those were the days.
And RoboCop versus Terminator, you can't beat that. It was a fun little book.
It was, and Simonson was great.
Yep.
So it was some fun stuff. This Eclipso story, actually, the Bart's here. This was a good story. This was where they were making Eclipso threatening, which was
that was a good run actually. That was the only time I ever took Eclipso seriously as a villain was that run. They just went off with that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. How about Joe? This Bobby, hello, by the way. You ask all these great questions. Do you think people overlook the positive impact that Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns had on the American comic industry?
I mean, overlooking in the sense that they're still top sellers over 3 decades later for DC. They're still making a lot of money. I mean, Paul Levitz had said, for not to weigh too much into the Alan Moore controversy, all that kind of stuff with if he was properly compensated or not, all that yada yada.
Right.
Paul Levitz has said they'd cut Alan 5-figure checks every quarter because of Watchmen sales.
Wow.
Like, I wish a publisher would fuck me that bad.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm sorry about it. And also, I hate to tell you, not you guys, because it's a freelancer contract.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not in the contract, all that handshake shit, sorry about it, dude. You should have put it in the contract. That's why we have contracts. That's exactly why we have contracts.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff that came from those books. I think the problem is a lot of people took the wrong lessons, and those wrong lessons they seemed popular, and then they didn't have the staying power. But there was part of the wrong lessons were like in our Bill Loeb's interview, which you can also check out on this channel.
Yes, there you go.
One of the horrible lessons people took from that is his editor before Paul Kupperberg was basically like, hey, you know what we need to do is murder everyone Wonder Woman knows and turn her into a Dark Avenger.
No, we don't.
And that was just the kind of thinking that was constantly going on at both companies. Was like, well, what if we murder everyone and make this character a dark, brooding Avenger? And editorial and people were really pushing that kind of stuff. You know, I don't think you get some of like the needlessly dark stories that you started getting in the 90s that ultimately turned people off. I don't think you get Hal's heel turn without Watchmen and Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I don't know why people do that. I mean, it's like who would like say, hey, you know, let's say they get a new writer in to do like a Green Lantern book, and then they say we just want to kill off a bunch of the lanterns. I mean, who does something like that?
Exactly.
I don't know. Some asshole.
No, but I do think obviously there are good lessons there.
I think. I mean, the good lessons. One of the good lessons is I think those guys opened up. I know this is a Joe question, but
sure.
They definitely opened up. They opened up what was possible in mainstream comic books. If you look at that year around those books, not those particular authors, but like within a couple of minutes of that, you have Animal Man, you have Crisis on Infinite Earths, you have like all kinds of amazing stuff was happening. Pretty much across both lines. Not all of it amazing, but a lot of it was fucking amazing, which is why they're mining the shit out of it right now for their movies and TV shows. Right. And that doesn't happen without those two books. Like, it literally does not happen if those books don't come out. So
I don't know if you get Batman 89 without the Dark Knight Returns. You know, like there are certain things where like you know, like some real stuff. But one of the downsides that I kind of hint to, but and I will stick to forever, is one of the worst things Watchmen and the Dark Knight Returns did was it made DC feel justified in acting like pre-crisis never happened.
Yeah.
And it was a horrible, horrible mistake, because some of the best Batman stories you will ever read in your entire life were pre-crisis stories.
Agreement.
And Batman forever changed, I want to say, for the worse after Dark Knight Returns. There are some good Batman stories that I really love after that, but I think the pitch perfect Batman was from like mid-late 70s till Crisis. Was like,
I'm going to give you a yes on that.
Yeah.
And,
I will ask you this, Joe. What do you think about this then? Because one of the things people forget, or seemingly consistently forget, about the Dark Knight Returns is it's the last Batman story.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally the end of Bruce Wayne's life. He's gone crazy because he stopped being Batman too early, basically. And he gets back in the saddle, but he's clearly fucking nuts throughout that whole thing, which is part of the point of the story. But I think editorial got it up their asses that, hey, this is really successful. Now you're going to tell me, because I don't know, and you weren't there, but somehow you always know. They learn the lesson. They think, oh, well, we can just start to extend backwards. Like, he was crazier younger, right? So that every new writer who came on, regardless of what they were doing before, they're now going to write a slightly crazier to very much crazier, possibly psychotic Batman. it's darker and he's going to be edgier and he's going to do all this shit. And I was like, but that's the opposite of what that story was. Like, if anything, you should make him stay good Batman as long as possible, because that's on the other side of not being sane.
Sure.
Right? This thing is waiting for you. And I think that they sort of retconned their entire line to match something that they shouldn't have. In that, I think that was the bad takeaway from Dark Knight Returns. But
sure, no, you're right. But I mean, you know this in part too. I mean, they loved how it went so much that they went back and had Frank Miller do Batman Year One. That was after Dark Knight Returns, so that they were like, Frank, can you come back right after Crisis? Because that was only a couple of issues in to be like, can you come back and make Batman a fucking lunatic from the beginning?
Yes. Well, sure, I'll do that for you. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. And you know, Chuck, it's funny, Chuck Dixon.
Sure.
When did I love the Nightwing spinoff where he gets his own city, Bloodhaven gets invented.
Yeah.
Is this is later? That's later than this, though. That's
that's
considerably
all 90s,
later.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They opened a lot of doors, but
yeah, a lot of the people who are saying that this is wrong about Batman, you're all under 40.
Yeah.
So you have no
That's
idea.
Correct.
You don't
So
know.
shut your holes.
Oh,
Sit down and
age card, yeah.
eat your porridge, goddammit. Go eat your porridge and while grown folks is talking.
Yeah.
So.
Oh dear. You know what? I'll take those. There's been some. We did the retrospective on City of Crime. There's been some very good series.
There's been some
absolutely.
great stuff. There's been some great stuff, but some of the single best, like hands down, Steve Englehart on Detective destroys just about every single thing you can say after Crisis. And the
laughing fish thing still sticks with me. And where the hell has Silver St. Cloud been all these years? But that run in particular is a perfect example of you can have your cake and eat it too. Because that Batman was dark as hell. He just wasn't psychotic.
You know,
absolutely.
This would be an entire topic with both of you, and we should actually record this separately, or maybe not live. But I feel like that era, the 70s and the 80s, they understood better how to do the done in one issue, where it was actually a good, solid story, and it felt like they lost that ability at some point.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I got to tell you, I struggle with, like, I would say if there's a drawback for the Future State books, it's that I had smaller amount of space to tell the story in per issue than I feel comfortable using. And I know my work at Marvel, I would say about half of it has been, 3 pages or 1 page or 4 pages. I hate that. Like I need at least 20 pages to get anywhere near what I'm trying to do. And I think this sort of writing for the trade, I think it's okay, but I don't think it should be the rule.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time it's become the rule.
Yeah.
This sort of decompressed kind of writing style. I think you should have episodes where they just come in. It's a good palate cleanser, if nothing else, for someone who's not following the run to come in and go, oh, it's just a one-off. Great. Oh, I like this. Let me go check out the rest of the run. I don't need to know anything. I think it's lost art, or not a lost art, but a less valued art.
We'll give Bubbles some attention here. Are you writing for the trade with Green Lantern?
I'm writing the arc. Okay. I'm trying to keep in mind that every issue is somebody's first issue, which is part of why you got the recap of issue 1 and issue 2, just in case someone didn't read issue 1. I mean, a lot of people didn't. So if they decided to pick up issue,
like it recapping, but it didn't feel like it was now we have to read through the issue.
No, I think you try very hard to make. You don't always make it. You don't always succeed. At least my way of writing. You don't always make it, but I think you should try to remember that somebody may have never picked this book up before and try to write something they can at least sink into just on its own merits. I'm not going to say that I succeed every time, but it's definitely my intent.
Very nice.
I love all of these books. I have all of these books too.
Yeah, we showed the ones before. It's Fantastic Four. We got a couple Byrne issues here, and that's Hickman. kind of kicking off his. I think this is the first appearance of the Future Foundation. I think is what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So that's Sue Storm. The Malice costume. Anybody want that coming back or?
No, but
Uh.
I think Burns misunderstood a lot. I'm going to shut up in a minute because I do talk too much. But
No, you're fine.
I think his treatment of women, in retrospect, gets a lot of negative. When I don't think he really did that very much.
Yeah.
Malice is a perfect example. I hated the era after this, where she was suddenly in like the 4 on her chest was an open hole, and all of that. I hated that shit.
Yeah.
And the anal floss outfit that Sue Storm, character-wise, would never wear. But this story is about her getting bent dark, and
It was.
and so showing her on this cover is jolting. All her dead friends that theoretically she just killed, that's part of the jolt. This is actually quite a good cover from my point of view, because it says, pick this book up. Why does Sue look like this? Why is everybody dead?
Yeah. I also like how
Right.
you got Daredevil swinging in there, like what I missed.
Yeah. What's he going to do about it? What the hell does Daredevil think he's going to do about it?
Yeah. Daredevil is swinging in to get killed.
Kill me too, Sue.
Yeah. Do it with your thighs. No, I'm just kidding.
Just like Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm 100% with you. I feel like Byrne gets very misrepresented, and what people forget about kind of these arcs with Sue is he helped push her to be the Invisible Woman.
Yep.
Mhm.
And he kind of brought her into her own, and he gets characterized, I think, very poorly. And I think he did a lot to kind of make his women characters powerful, whether it's She-Hulk in her run or Sue here.
I agree.
I hate to see people taking a go at him for things that I think he did actually very well. But anyway.
Well, there's plenty of things to take a run at Byrne for if you want to.
Sure,
That's just not one of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah, Byrne is cranky. And
Yeah.
Joe knows I've got a personal story with Byrne that I'll always remember. But but in terms of his treatment for women, I think this is one of those cases where people are very unfair to what he actually did. So,
And that was a good arc. The Malice arc was a good arc.
oh yeah,
This was this Childhood Zen one? Was that the Sideways issue? Was that the one that was?
I don't
Remember that when he changed it where every page was landscape instead of portrait.
I don't remember if that was this one or the Psycho Man one.
Okay,
This was where she was saving Franklin.
right.
Maybe that was the. I'll have to go. I need to spend more time looking at these comics because I think.
Wait, okay. The issue previous to this one is when they destroyed Herbie because it told Franklin to grow up.
Yeah.
Yes. And he blows up Herbie, and then in this issue, he's a full-grown man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh my God, Byrne was out of control. You guys don't even know that book was smoking hot. That was the best era of the Fantastic Four since Lee Kirby. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lee Kirby had a good run. This was a good run. I liked Hickman's run, but to me the Byrne. I recently went back and read his issues, and they are just he does amazing stuff. He's got some great.
he came to play on that one.
No.
Jesus, now I got to go read this shit again.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Some other kind of anniversary issues. This X-Men cover. This was X-Men 100, unless I missed my guess. Yeah.
Wow.
This is before. This is kind of right before everybody got super excited about the X-Men.
Right.
You know.
I was living there. I own that. I own all of these comics right now that you have on the screen. Cockrum, my favorite before Byrne showed up. By far, my favorite before Byrne showed up. That issue, but I really am dazzled by the cover price. Frankly, I can't really take it at this point.
Yeah, that's a little painful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That was the X Sentinels. The big spoiler on that, kids, is that that's not the actual X-Men. Those are the X Sentinels, including Professor X. But that whole run with the Sentinels coming back, that was so. I think that's the setup, right? That was teeing up the football. That was the tee up of the football. That's when we find out Wolverine's claws are part of his body, right? Yep. That's when he slices Jean's dress, letting her know in his perfect Wolverine way that he's attracted to her.
And right before the Phoenix.
And right before Phoenix shows up. Like, I mean, that was, oh my God, when he killed Professor X, people lost their shit.
Yeah.
And then it's a robot.
It's a good. Keep in mind, if you were buying everything on this page, you would be paying $1.55.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. A lot of double
Do they still
issues here.
do they still do a thing where they periodically where the Avengers do a membership drive? Because I used to love those issues.
They do. They're not as. I don't know. They've gotten dumber. I think the last person to do it real well was Kurt Busiek in his run. I thought they did it pretty well. But then,
Sure.
I mean, Bendis did it in like you were watching. I don't know. He did it like a TV show. It was that I don't know the best way to put it.
Like American Idol?
No. Like he was doing a very West Wing style. It was that kind of dialogue and approach.
Gotcha.
And
so
funny you say that, because that's Perez Avengers issue.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
That's funny.
Anyway, some
and I saw in the chat that Defenders. That's when I discovered Keith Giffen, that run, and he was doing a Kirby impression that was to beat the band. It was the only time I ever liked Moon Knight.
Yeah.
The way he got out of that trap with an empty beer can, I was like, that guy's cool.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
There is good.
Man.
By the way, there is a Superman by Byrne omnibus out, and it is making a lot of money.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
It should.
Sorry, Joe. Is it an omnibus or is it just a trade? Actually,
There is. They put out the Superman Batman Generations by Byrne omnibus, but they have the Man of Steel. They did as standard sized hardcovers, which is stupid. They should have just done the omnibus, but you would have probably needed 2 omnibuses, and they're doing it as 4 hardcovers instead. But I think the first hardcover is already out of print because DC hates us.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. No, the Byrne Superman stuff they had up on Amazon was like it briefly hit #1, and then it was one of the top books for quite a while, along with Primer and Watchmen, which was a hell of a combo. But yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. All right. Gen 13, Adam Warren doing some stuff here. This is the Wildcats.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think everything except Evangeline. I was done with Extreme by then. But I own all these.
This was when Evangeline went to Maximum Press. So we were getting
pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Spawn 50.
I got that.
Yeah.
And Adam Warren, speaking of sort of pseudo manga, this was sort of like a star turn, right? When he came in to do this little Gen 13 run, he was coming off of his own stuff to come do this. Like he was kind of big in indie world at this point, wasn't he? No? Never big, or just big at my house, I suppose.
Adam Warren? No, Adam Warren had a solid little career. I mean, the crazy part about him is he's still producing a ridiculous amount of work with Empowered, and it's all free basically. I mean, he puts it up on his website, and
oh wow,
I think you can donate money. I mean, he puts it out. He gets it printed, but I mean, you can read the story just right now for nothing, and it's very solid. If you haven't seen,
he's a rock solid.
Yeah, he's gotten better. He's still very detailed. He's got it. So
I'll have to go check that out after we're done here.
Yeah.
That was Fire from Heaven. Wasn't that a big all image crossover, or was it just all Wildstorm crossover?
It was all Wildstorm. I thought a couple others crossed over, but it was definitely all the Wildstorm books. And I thought a couple of this one, Alan Moore was doing Wildcats, and
that was so awesome.
Yeah.
He was so good. He made Supreme good. That's how good Alan Moore is. He made Supreme. Not just worth reading, actually good. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. How about this stuff? Alien Legion. Do you guys remember that book?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where's my movie or TV series? Jesus Christ, Alien Legion.
People joke about some of these being old books, but what I always think of when I go through some of this stuff is like Marvel's sitting on a ridiculous, and Disney now, a ridiculous amount of IP from the 70s and 80s that would just make shows. It's like
they're just, yeah, like Alien Legion it's everything everybody wants. Like it's just everything you want. But you know what? They probably don't do anything with it because now that they own Star Wars, Alien Legion would just chop that up.
Yeah.
Like it would cut right into that fan base because I think a lot of what people want Star Trek and Star Wars to be, Alien Legion actually is that. So
Yeah.
if you did it right, you'd be undercutting your own big cash cow. Like you'd split your audience.
That is true. I did. Joe, did you read Alien Legion by any chance?
You know, that's one of the holes in my in my reading, but I'm familiar.
You should check it out.
It's good.
It's really it's well put together. It's a Chuck Dixon, right? And I'm trying to think who did the art. Somebody with a Z last name, and and the other guy from oh God, I should know his name, and I will as soon as you say it. Black guy, worked on Tribe for Image.
Not Larry Stroman.
Come on, Jeff. Yeah, Stroman did some of them. Larry Stroman did some of the Alien Legion as well. Yeah, thank you for that. Boy, yeah. No, not Zurcher.
Carl Potts.
That Iron
Carl
Man
Potts,
though too
sure.
is good. That was good. That point of Iron Man where you were leading up to issue 200 with the final showdown of Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane.
That was all Leighton all the time at that point, right?
It was. I think Leighton was out now because it was.
Really?
That was Denny and Leighton came back.
Okay.
After what was it, around 206, 210 in that area? He came back with David, but that was that issue's got to be. It's either. I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's the same cover artist, but that might have been a Mark Bright issue.
Oh wow!
Because I know Mark Bright was doing some in there. It's either that Herb Trimpe or Rich Buckler. Those were like the guys who were doing Iron Man at the go-tos. Time. Yeah, and
that's Spectacular Spider-Man. That was I own that. That was really good. Undersung, I think that run.
Yep. And that was not the arch. That wasn't the introduction of Cloak and Dagger. No, that was much early. Yeah.
The art style, though, I think that a lot of these artists who were really, really good, but didn't have the sort of fan favorite styles of the day, got eclipsed by people like Byrne. But that little run in A Spectacular Spider-Man was dope as fuck. Like it was really good.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think because I think was it Glenn Greenberg was talking about this because this is Bill Mantlo, and Bill Mantlo was trying to get Jim Shooter to agree to let him have Peter have a kid out of wedlock.
Oh dear God!
And Jim Shooter was like, "No, absolutely not."
No, what are you stupid? We're not doing that.
And that was apparently one of the breaking points for Bill Mantlo. Like one of the points where he was like, "That's it. Forget comics."
Oh my God, Bill. That was never happening, my dear. My poor sweet baby. That was never happening.
Right? Like
that's something Green Arrow gets to do. Spider-Man doesn't get to do that.
Yeah.
No.
I've always loved this Hulk cover because I love the idea of the Hulk is in the rearview mirror about to murder you. I love the whole thing, the expression on the driver's face, a cigarette coming out of his mouth. It's just this is a great cover. For some reason, they're advertising a TV show. It's like there's some great stuff there.
Yeah, I agree on that. And the lovely origin of Wanda Maximoff in Avengers. That shit was dope. And I have Power Man, and I have Contest of Champions. I have all of these comics.
Nice.
Contest of Champions was great. I thought that's a really underrepresented limited series that they did there.
I think Secret Wars beat it to death is all.
For sure.
Everyone loves Secret Wars more, but Contest of Champions is really good.
Yeah. The Luke Cage Power Man. I like how, and there's so many of like one of these days I'm going to do a bit of just panels from his comic. Like the thought bubbles from Luke Cage were hilarious.
Are they problematic by modern standards?
They're not necessarily problematic, but he had a lot of inner dialogue that was just comical. I just love some of that stuff.
Nice.
Donald Trump will never appear in my comics. I will
You're
not
not
be
making
doing
Trump
that.
a Yellow Lantern.
Nope.
I would say,
Sorry about it.
I don't know. The video I did today about the Trump MODOK thing, it feels like most people got it, but man, that made some people angry. Like I had several kind of rage people. Like number one, it's like there's one person who's like, I didn't know you were a big Trumper. Unsubscribed. I'm like, I said in the video I don't like
dear
Trump. That wasn't
God.
the point. Number two, it was if you think this is okay, it's like, no, I'm not saying it's okay. It was. But in context, it was 2 pages of a forgettable annual. Like, why are we talking about?
Not everybody's grasp is the same as their reach. I feel like every creator should be allowed to try anything they want, and then they take their lumps when they miss, and that's it. Like you can get mad about it, but they should be allowed to try it. So
do what you got to do. I mean, it was dumb. It was dumb at the time. It would be done with any politics. Nobody wants to see. People barely want to see MODOK, let alone some real life.
Like
MODOK. You know,
you're going to the wall for MODOK characterization as Donald Trump. Who gives a shit? Either way, who gives a shit?
Let's get some Spiro Agnew Doom bots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, boy. Yeah, the 70-year-old contingent will be. They'll be picketing Marvel offices if you do.
I get so tired of it. Like I have to. In my inside, I want to believe these people are trolling, but like Mumbles does a very good job with his trolling. Like, be at Mumbles level. If you can't come up to Mumbles level of trolling, then fuck off. That's what I.
Or maybe in Adlai Stevenson Abomination.
Jesus Christ! You know what? Now I want to see that book. Like that's how stupid I am.
Oh, it's all very stupid. I mean, and look at this. If that issue really bothered you, the revenge is that both of the creators on that are in pretty much. I mean, one of them's been run out of the business for all intents and purposes, and the other one's not.
Or we read you the Captain America #1 cover, but he's punching Jimmy Carter.
This is for the gas prices.
Here's Malaise this peanut farmer.
Oh my God. God bless you. God bless you.
I'll throw out there if Larry King on Twitter is doing amazing mashups right now of comics where he's taking some of the he did that one with the X-Men fighting the X-Men earlier from 100, and he's got them fighting manga characters and stuff. There's some great stuff there.
That seems fun.
As a do something.
Utron, Teen Lantern is going to she's going to take her lumps. Let me put it like that. She is not a fucking Mary Sue.
She's taking her lumps. Okay.
She's going to be taking her lumps. Just get ready for that shit.
Yeah, very good. Not that Larry King. Jesus. Okay, so
Star-Lord.
Colossus, huh?
That was that the first appearance of Arcade in the X-Men?
In the X-Men, yeah. This was right around when he showed up. Yeah, because he's the one who manipulated Colossus into being the proletarian. Unfortunately, though, none of this makes sense anymore, according to the powers that be at Marvel, because of the sliding time scale. This would have happened in 1999, 2000. There is no USSR.
Oh my God, with that.
So they ruined their own continuity.
Why did they not put? I understand they wanted bearded Colossus for thirsty people in the Hellfire Gala, but I would have turned I would have given the Hellfire Gala praise if they would have had Colossus wearing this outfit, the full blown overalls. You know what? That would have been hilarious.
Another full disclosure. I frankly love all of the crazy designs. I think they're just hysterical. Some of them are just really great. Whatever.
I don't know if that's what they wanted you to feel, but
well, I think the problem is sometimes, probably not the hysterical ones, but I think sometimes the problem though is they go so far with the design that they forget the personalities of the characters, and there's no fucking way Peter Rasputin is wearing that. No way. He's a very simple, basic dude, even dressed up he's the guy who's be pulling at his collar, like, when can I get out of this and put on some jeans and a shirt? And, like, he's not that guy. So even if he's forced to come to it, I would want his wardrobe, however flashy, to reflect his actual personality.
Yeah.
Like, that's my only beef with any of that shit. So, or make it a story point that they forced him to wear this get up and he hates it all night long.
Yeah.
Like for the entire, it's like, when can I get out of this fit?
Yeah.
But other than that,
Colossus is not gay in the 616. At least they haven't. That was the Colossus in the Ultimate Universe.
the Lantern Gala.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Lantern Gala.
Yeah.
No, I
they all wear the same outfit.
That would be hilarious.
I wish I understood what the hell was happening, because, like, on the one hand, I love so many of these people working on these books. I genuinely do, and I support a lot of their books and especially their independent work. And you'd be hard pressed to meet a writer in comics who is annoyed that you prefer their creator-owned independent work that they have more control over. But yeah, it's like I hear interviews, I do these things with people I genuinely love, and I'm like, what you're saying isn't making it to the page here. And I don't know how much of that is editorial interference or, being like, oh, well, this is an event, so you have to cut that and use these characters, and you can't do this and you can't do that, because these events really do mess with what people can do. But it's so frustrating, because I'll hear these things and people will be like, I really love this character. And I'll be like, I don't even like that character that much, but I read so many comics with that character, and that's not that character. And I can't help it. It's just, I can't help feeling that way, because it's just like, I've read hundreds of comics with this character, and this character's never been like this at all.
Like this, Like never, ever for 1 second like this. So make the story so that we can get them there. If you want them to get there, make a whole story so that they end up in this position. You can't just say they were there. I agree. I wholeheartely agree with that. I believe I have this Star-Lord. I definitely have that to finish. Was that guy named Nebulon?
Yep. That is
isn't that his name?
Nebulon. I loved giving people when Guardians came out and people were coming in looking for comics with Star-Lord. I loved putting this on the table, confusing the shit out of everybody. It's like,
they're like, who the hell is that guy?
What is this? No, this with the balloon lettering. But this Thor.
Isn't that an undersung? Isn't the original Star-Lord comic an undersung Byrne Claremont collaboration? I believe it was.
Originally, yeah, I think so.
That is a beautiful piece of work.
Yeah.
And Marvel just never did much with it.
Yeah. I loved this was of course an epic run of Thor, which I think this isn't the run we're going to do, but we're going to do a retrospective on Thor, right, Joe?
Yeah, we're going to, and we might do Simonson's at some point too. But like that, the worst part of Simonson's Thor is that it became such a gold standard that no one talks about other runs except the current run and Simonson's run.
Yeah, that's
always like when it was. Straczynski, then it was like, oh, it's Simonson's and Straczynski's. When it's Jason Aaron, it's Simonson and Jason Aaron. When it's Donny Cates, it's like, oh, it's William, it's that, and it's not, and it sucks because there's a lot of really good runs. I mean, there are people who make the argument that, and I think it's a fair argument to make, that probably the most underrated of Stan and Jack's collaborations, because so many people talk up Fantastic Four and other books, is Thor.
Yeah.
And there were so many incredible runs and really great runs, and the fact that no one talks about Tom DeFalco's run on Thor is like sinful.
Yeah.
It's just, it gets, because he followed up Simonson. And no one talks about it. Same thing with although I've at least been seeing more people come around to DeFalco's Spider-Man, but for a long time people acted like it wasn't worth reading, and I feel like only fairly recently we're starting to get more people coming out of the woodwork to be like, actually Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz did some pretty great Spider-Man stuff. So that's been nice to see. But it's weird because DeFalco is so, it's like, for someone who had the reins of the company during one of the highest points it will ever reach, for his work to so rarely be collected and rarely ever in any prestigious format is baffling.
Yeah. I definitely do some Lantern Gala. You got to do it too. I love the patheticness of this Iron Man cover where they're changing this. They're saving money basically by just changing 2 letters. Thankfully, I like how they built a logo Scrabble style where you can just kind of replace the
yeah, it's like a movie theater marquee.
Yeah. And meanwhile, for whatever reason, it's kind of raining there. I think that's what the lines are. And Tony just has to sit there and watch the logo change and cry while Iron Man just kind of sinks his head. This is the most pathetic cover.
It's great though, in the sense that this was Denny O'Neil was doing a years-long story of the rise and ultimate fall of Obadiah Stane in a way that I wish you would see more comics pull off.
Oh, this is a good storyline. Make no mistake. This cover is just sad.
It's very sad.
Who was the editor-in-chief at this time? I'm just gonna ask that really quick.
I believe it was this guy Jim.
Yeah.
It's funny how that seems to always correlate. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know.
It is weird.
The X-Men, I believe, this is how crazy I am with the X-Men. I believe this was a fill-in issue. And
it was
and there was a character called Warhawk who had infiltrated the mansion.
Yep.
And he was not a mutant, but he had some really weird sort of abilities and was kind of indestructible to punch or something.
Yep.
And he was an assassin and he'd come to kill somebody. And that's pretty much all I remember. But I remember it as a weird fill-in issue.
It was a weird fill-in issue. It was they used art from, it was an inventory story by Bob Brown, who had just passed away months before that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's not a story I wanted to hear. The poor guy didn't even see his book come out.
No, but I mean, he had some good runs on Challenges of the Unknown, Avengers.
Oh, okay.
He did some good work. But yeah, that was a fill-in. It was Bill Mantlo and Bob Brown. And Bob Brown is a supremely underrated artist.
It was a good issue.
Yeah, Bob Brown did most of the Silver Age Doom Patrol covers. And,
get out of town.
And they are gorgeous. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I knew that art was familiar, and I never could know where from. Thank you. See, Joe is like an oracle.
He's the vault. Like, I'm telling you.
I honestly thought he was a peer, but he could actually be my son, and it's really irritating.
Joe knows everything. That's the key. And it would be crazy if a company didn't hire him as an editor. Like one of the big 2 would be smart.
I do not disagree. It would be nice. I feel like institutional memory is wildly underrated, and it really shouldn't be.
He doesn't pull over from the side of the road to have a cry either. So.
What? I don't know what that is.
Yet.
I have no idea what that is.
That's not nice to me.
Crap.
Yeah. How about Black? Why did Black Goliath was an interesting character, but if you look at his run of character, he fought garbage villains. I mean,
my God.
And
I have a running gag about the Stilt Man. He got his ass kicked a lot
too.
And he also had the midriff shirt thing going on.
He did. I always, people are like, why didn't a character like Black Goliath go over? It's like, well, you had Stiltman kicking his ass for a comic. That's the clue.
A villain that Daredevil can beat.
Yeah,
should not be any competition for freaking Black Goliath.
No,
and then also the Thing dressed him down at one point. He's like, in some other issue, he's like, why are you Black Goliath? Like, literally everyone can see you're black. Shouldn't it just be Goliath?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, the
this is
thing
actually in the
doing
comic book.
the thing was doing a roast on him in the middle of like the street. Just
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
you're doing this wrong, son. You're doing all of this wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Damn.
and that's Coleman on the Doctor Strange, right?
yes.
Ugh.
He is such a
Beautiful.
good artist, and
Yes.
and again, it's a shame that there's a lot of these artists we've lost over the years. That like I feel if we lost them before the internet got really big, unless you were Jack Kirby, you kind of get memory hold, and like the kids don't know Gene Colan, you know.
Y'all don't know from Gene, but
God.
I'll tell you what, that Tomb of Dracula would hold up right now if they no one had ever heard them and they released it with new covers and didn't say it was from the old days. The only thing they would miss would be cell phones. That book is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. The thing was right, but Max is correct. If they called him White Goliath, that would be silly. Yeah.
Well, he's not wearing white, but if he was
That's
wearing
true.
white,
Yeah.
then there'd be a whole other things to make fun of him about.
That would be kind of funny.
White Goliath.
They could do a lot of things. with
Why?
this.
Why are you adding color? You can grow to the size of a building. Just say Goliath.
Yeah, I've always that was yeah, Black Lightning, Black Goliath, Black Panther. It's like I don't know.
You're funny.
Black Racer.
Black Racer.
You
yeah.
iron. You iron.
Yeah.
You iron. You're funny.
Yeah, I missed
Conan. Buscema era Conan.
Yeah, this is a good. This is a good Conan for sure. All right, we're almost at the end here, I promise. But
Memory lane.
how about this? I like the Flash. This first of all, Flash looks weird. The way he's rendered here, but like he's like guilty, and the next panel is him just super speed murdering everybody who's arrested.
Nice.
He has a look of he's about to
one
roll
does.
lost the court. Yeah.
Nice.
It hasn't
Oh, we got
switched
some
for me
Steve
yet.
Lytle.
Yep.
There we go.
There's Steve Lytle Legion right there.
Why hasn't it switched on my screen yet?
Oh no, I don't know.
Aggravation. Oh, there we go. I'm looking at another. I got you. Okay. Oh yeah, I got all these.
And then here's Black Mask. So hanging out with all the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not White Mask? Why aren't you White Mask?
Why not
Why not
White
just
Mask?
Mask?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why racists?
No, his name makes sense. Yeah, that cover was tasty. That was actually the one I was thinking of when we were talking about it before.
Yeah.
That's a great cover. And Gem, Son of Saturn. Holy crap.
Yep.
Haven't thought about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Was that Mandrake and Ostrander again?
Yes. Wait.
Perfect team.
Yes. Yes.
Was it? Or was it Gene Colan and somebody?
That I think
I don't
issue
know.
I think is Gene, but
Oh, the Jim.
Okay.
That's Greg Potter. Yeah, Gene Colan. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry about it.
Oh, you're good.
I think. We did a retrospective. We'll go up with Batman '89, the movie with Ryan earlier today. He asked a question like, "Why does anybody ever shoot Batman in the face?" Since he's got his dark costume, can blend into the shadows, except this mouth. In fact, in the movies, they make a point to have him put black makeup around the eyes, but then his mouth. Like, what is he doing there exactly?
I don't know.
Well, my favorite part is when the guy like just flips in with like the katanas.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. That's the best. That's like sold. I'm in.
Yeah.
I wasn't with it until Batman 2, until the Catwoman one.
Mhm.
It's the Tim Burtonist one of the two.
Who was dating Michael Keaton, I believe, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
She was great. I love that one in that Michael Keaton has a lot less to do like intentionally. Like he had them cut a lot of his lines because Batman shouldn't be talking and monologuing too much and things like that.
Yeah, he's not that dude. Yeah, I agree with you. He shouldn't be trading wisecracks and witticisms. He's supposed to be scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Like not making you laugh while he beats you up.
Yeah, I watch it around Christmas every year. It's just something I do because I'm a
It's a
nerd.
good Christmas movie.
Oh yeah,
It's a good Christmas
It's
movie.
a Christmas movie for sure.
It is
For sure.
This Green Arrow here, just for some perspective, what was going on at the time? This was DC's top-selling comic when this was out.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Quiver, you're damn right it was.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
This one, Kevin Smith was like a big draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put
good
Kevin
book.
Smith on a comic now, no one would really care. But back then, that was like gigantic.
Yeah.
It was right after Chasing Amy, right?
Yeah, he was at his height.
Yeah.
I have all these comics.
Yeah.
So sad.
A lot of guilty this week. There was a lot of
Yeah.
yeah.
You're to blame. You are to blame.
I miss
JLA.
I miss Kevin McGuire on JLA.
He was so good.
Yeah. I mean, and
That book was so funny.
he would happily be back on that book if DC would.
I think so.
If they would give him a call.
I've been trying to get him. Every time he comes up, every few months I'll remind him. I don't know him. I talk to him like I know him. Dude, bring Strike Back back. It's
Yeah.
like no one wanted to buy Strike Back. I'm like, do it again right now.
I ran into him at the Emerald City Comic Con, and he was we were chatting for a bit, and he's like, they could call me. I would draw that comic. I can do a monthly schedule. I would do it.
He is awesome. Why is no one calling him?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy how many people like we've interviewed and not interviewed yet or talked to, and nearly every single one of them have been like, yeah, of course I'd do it again, or I'd come back and I'd do it. Like none of these people don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen his current artwork. Is he as good as he was then? Because he was freaking amazing back then.
Oh yeah. He can get a monthly schedule. No problem.
Well, that's a good thing to file away, because that guy could draw his ass off.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And he had that detail, that Perez level of detail. You think you're joking, Mumbles. I make notes of these things.
Yeah.
I am absolutely not averse to pulling somebody who can kick ass and is somehow aged out. Fuck that. That's some bullshit. That guy can draw.
No, he's solid, meets a schedule, all good. Like, give him money, he will sell books. What's going on?
Good to know. That's very good to know.
Don't get it. Anyway, we've reached the end. This is good. There's some nice titles. I do want to. We got some good interviews coming up that are just now being processed. We've already done them, right, Joe? These are
those are all ones that are done, and we have at least two. We have two more that are definitely happening, and then another one. We still got a schedule, but yeah.
I'm still scheduling around. Mr. Hollywood right now, but these are some three very, very different people and great, very good stories to hear. So
I'm still trying. Oh my God, Ben Templesmith.
Yeah,
holy shit. I love that guy.
He's great.
Oh my God,
he's very well dressed.
He often joins us in the chat. He's not here tonight, but. Or maybe he's just listening in. But,
shit.
Ben Templesmith, great talent.
Holy shit.
20 miles away from me. So hopefully,
dude,
Seattle could fix a bridge and then maybe we'll go get a drink. Nice.
Well, infrastructure bill.
I don't get like the West Seattle Bridge.
I know.
Falls in the water. I mean, what are you doing?
Anyway. But yeah, those
and
are all
Willingham.
great.
You got Willingham. Jesus.
Yep. Willingham's.
I'm surprised he would do an interview.
Yeah, three radically different people, but with very good stories to tell and great stuff.
What is the 20? What's the 20K subscriber event? What the hell is that?
I have no plans, but sure.
We gotta figure.
What is this?
Subscriber event. There is no subscriber event. I won't have 20. Eventually, people are going to wise up and start unsubscribing. Is what's going to happen.
But
stop saying that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was it? John K. Snyder III wants to do an interview with us in July.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Because he has a bunch of new stuff that he wants to promote as well. But that's the fashion and action guy. He's great.
I agree, Paul.
And another one we have coming up that we just scheduled. So as long as everything goes through, it'll be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Is with Eric Luke.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Holy
that's really
crap.
very nice. Yeah.
Like he wrote. I'm reading through his Wonder Woman run right now. I'm like halfway through it. It's he wrote Wonder Woman for 2 years, and everyone memory hold it, and it's never been collected
Mm-hmm.
because he wrote it in
Jesus.
like 99 and 2000, and it was in between John Byrne's run and Philomena's run.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a really good run. It's Yannick Paquet. I'm messing up his last name.
Yeah.
But
Holy crap.
that was like his first run at Wonder Woman, and he's doing the Wonder Woman Earth 1 books now. Like he's known as a top Wonder Woman artist. That's his first work on the book. You would think they'd want to slap that bad boy together and, put out, they do those fat trades. It's like 21 issues. Just put them all together and toss it out there. Why not?
I do not know how marketing thinks. I gave up trying to get into that. I have no idea.
That's fair, but Eric Luke also worked on Gargoyles, so
right.
And he wrote an episode of Ultra Force, the cartoon.
Oh dear God! How do you know these things? Why do you know these things?
I rewatched Ultra Force during the lockdown.
Jesus, why would you torment yourself that way? Why would you hurt that's like hitting yourself in the face with someone going, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Jesus Christ. Like, I love the opening credits for the Wildcats show, but I would never watch the Wildcats show.
That opening credits is it is something, but
it's terrible, but I love it.
Yeah. Or I've also been meaning to push myself through to watch that old live action John Sable show.
Oh Christ. That was such a misfire.
It's a real shame because John Sable's one of I love that comic so much, and that show is not that.
Well, they could do it now if they wanted. Do it right.
They should.
Let me make a quick note of that one.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming and joining us tonight. It's a lot of fun having you here. I think we're doing it. I think we'll be on next week, but there's a chance that I'm traveling, so hopefully not. But
is that holiday weekend next weekend?
Oh, it is a holiday weekend next weekend. That actually may reduce the chances I'm traveling. Anyway, we'll see.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as the world starts to open up, the traveling will increase. So this may get a little dodgy at times. But anyway, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for being so kind and polite. Like I said, this is a lot of crazy people emerged this week. I don't know what it was, but anyway, thank you for not being insane. I appreciate that. And we will, and my daughter is inside and apparently, so you'll appreciate this. The kids are watching this show, Ben 10. And they just, they're like, hey, wait a minute. This person on the credits is somebody you talked to.
Is me. That's correct. I wrote a bunch of Ben 10s.
Yeah. Yep. So Jeff is entertaining my kids right now. So that is
my job, sir. I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
So
I love Ben 10. That was so fun.
It's a fun show. It's and they enjoy it. So thank you for that. But thank you everybody.
Tell them I said hi.
Joe and Jeff, thank you so much for spending your time with me tonight and everybody. And
always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure.
All right. Take care, Chad, and talk to you all very soon.
Yes, have a great one.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.